Wasn't even ready. I just came back from the gym. So I just wanted to do a quick podcast because I understand there's a lot of misconceptions about bodybuilders. I get hit with a lot of slander, especially with, the whole bodybuilding being gay trope, amongst other things as well, too. It's good to be home. Just worked a 10-hour, 12-hour day. I don't even know. Can't even say what hour it was. I did like a 10-hour day. It's really busy, crazy day. But anyways, I'm home and I want to get back to some content. My first order of the day is to just do some content because I want to eliminate some of the stigma stereotypes that come along with bodybuilders. The accusations I get all the time, steroids must be this and that, whatever it is. People make up their own shit when it comes to this. At the end of the day, the lazy people in America want to point fingers at you and tell you why you came up with this shortcut that even if you gave them all the secrets and shortcuts, they wouldn't even enact in their own measure. They wouldn't even begin to do this. It takes a lot of discipline, suffering, and sacrifice. But they'll point to an injection or drug or pill or something like that, thinking that this magic pill is going to be a remedy for fuck all, to be honest with you, for anything. It doesn't really make any sense for people to do this. Actually, let me go ahead and cross myself before I even start this. Christ have mercy on my own soul as a sinner. So we're going to get into this content, and I want to cover a lot of this because I know that my detractors will attack me all the time or they'll say things. I'm going to cover a lot of the stigmas that come along with bodybuilding, a lot of the issues with fitness, and debunk a lot of things as well, too. So I know the topic of the day is bodybuilding for dummies, but also the premises who aren't even trying. These people that do talk shit all the time and want to just espouse a lot of this and talk crap about the physique and bodybuilding. Let's go back into this because I understand there are people that went into my past, my videos and all that other stuff. I'm going to be debunking a lot of things. And there's a reason why I'm getting into this as well, too. We'll dive deep and we're going to cover everything. Not to mention just everything, but let me just beat a dead horse and say everything. Okay, all right, let's begin.
212 powerhouse, Marte Ruelas. Should tell you a lot about just how tough Marte Ruelas really is. That he can indeed defend his title against a deep crop of competitors that seem to be growing by the day.
The music was pretty based. I like it. That was the John Wick soundtrack, and I feel like I'm going to have to go down that journey that I don't want to go. You know how John Wick got back into like the whole hitman ordeal because somebody killed his dog, and that was an extension of his girlfriend, the only thing that he had left beloved, and then he was grieving, and they took him out. So, by the way, after that set, I ended up puking out of the back of the gym. That was a tough ass set. This is like lightweight, especially like in those days. But it just so happened that guys, pro bodybuilders like Rusty Jeffers, Dennis James, who I trained under, and other people who are Olympians, these people knew how to make me suffer when it came to training in the gym, because if I was to just do those reps regular, like I would have just did it like it was a cakewalk. But the way that they designed the training session was to be so grueling that never in your wildest dreams would you be capable of doing this on your own volition. Because a lot of people, they couldn't even have the tenacity to get off the couch and make it to the gym, let alone do those sets that I was doing that day. But we're going to dive deep into this. But that didn't magically happen. This was like years of hard work and a lot of dieting and training. I am starving. So in the middle of this video, I was taking bites because I just came from the gym. Normally I'd take a protein shake, but now it's like I'll just dive for food sometimes. You can switch from just a protein shake or just regular food, but we're going to dive into this. I'm going to give you the signs that people think that you're a pro bodybuilder, to be honest with you, because this is also going to debunk a lot of the detractors that I've had as well too, from just saying, oh yeah, he probably takes steroids, but they never talk about the hard work, the training, or anything else that coincides with any of this other stuff. Yeah, I bet he's in the MLB, he took steroids. To be in the MLB, you need to have a lot of technique and skill. I'm pretty sure it was somebody's midnight dream before turning pro. It was my midnight dream before I turned pro as well too. But we're going to address the common signs indicating that a person's physique or gym progress might be more impressive than you think. That's what I'm going to tackle tonight. So a lot of this, we're going to rank social and physical indicators from beginner to level to 1% top gym lifters, providing this nuanced insight that you guys need tonight, grounded in real gym culture and experience. So we're going to go through all of this. So the key signs are all of this. And I'm going to go through the levels and everything else. And I'm also going to provide some tips and tricks because it's tough out there for a gym, for somebody else that's going to be training. If you indeed want to get out here and start training, I think it's good just to pick up a weight. It's easy, but it's not as easy as just lifting up big things and putting them down. So one of the key indicators that you are a bodybuilder or a pro bodybuilder is that the gym people mistake you for a trainer. I've been mistaken for a trainer on numerous occasions. This happens everywhere. Like I'll wear a tank top out in public and people will be like, are you a trainer? Who do you train? Well, I've been actually mistaken for a football player many of times. This happens all the time. And these are key signs to know that you aren't a fat, out of shape, lazy American or any other country, because Americans are lazy as hell. Let's face it. That's what's going to happen. So not to mention this, but that's like, I would rank this on the above average scale. If you get mistaken for a trainer or somebody else, it generally happens only if you're very lean or muscular enough to attract attention. And now this isn't a bad thing. This is actually good, but people can perceive you to have a huge ego because you work on your body. I don't know why this misconception happens all the time when really, as soon as people get massively huge, the majority of people that I know that are pro bodybuilders in the IFBB league, they'll put on covers. They'll cover everything up because you could still tell that this person trains no matter how big this shirt is. So people will stop mid-session to watch me train. That's another thing though. That's how you know that you're the 1% of gym goers or anybody else in America as far as fitness. People will stop their session in the middle of a gym to watch you train. That's how you know that you're putting on size and making progress. Now, people aren't going to stop their set and watch somebody that's just looking average. It's rare that somebody lifts a heavy set and they look skinny. It's rare that this happens. And then not to mention this, significant strength commands attention. You're going to see this a lot. It's usually reserved for exceptional lifts or physiques. And you'll see this in the top 1 percentile of people in the gym or training or out in public. People will also ask me if I've competed or have plans to compete because I have an above average physique. So now you guys out there, if you're going to be asked in the gym if you compete or anything else, that's how you also know that you're the 1% of the population. And then not to mention this, if you have a I would say a competition level physique, this is an easy indicator. People will stop and ask you when your next show is, even if you don't compete. This happens all the time. I get stopped in the gym regularly. This goes when that's why I don't wear tank tops on. And this is why I don't wear tank tops on when I go to grocery stores, when I go to Walmart or anything like that. People will stop me and ask who I play for. I don't even know what they're talking about, but they must assume that I play for some NFL team or something like this. This happens all the time. Here's the other indicator to know that you at least train and you're above average in the gym. Girls are afraid to talk to you. It's going to happen. People automatically think that when you put on size, women are going to come flock to you throughout the woodwork and just come out and just automatically talk to you. No, it's quite the opposite. Girls are going to be intimidated and they're not going to talk to you. Here's the reason why. You look like a lot of responsibility, you look like a lot of discipline, and you look like suffering. No girl wants to be tied to that. Well, I would say most women, unless they're already in fitness, want to be tied to this, unless they're like, damn, I got to eat. This is what goes on in their mind. I get told this a lot. There were expos that I went to and signed autographs for a lot of people. And in the midst of like signing 500 autographs for expos, whether or not I was signed to a supplement company or not, people then ask you a lot of things. They'll say, geez, I can't imagine being your girlfriend or woman. I must have to eat a lot of salad. So there's these preconceived notions that come along with this, meaning that these women are not going to approach you because they're going to think that they're going to be subjected to some salad slavery. That's really what it is. Oh, if I date him, I got to change my whole diet. Oh, if I say date, you know what? We don't even care as long as you're not morbidly obese for the most part. And you look halfway decent. That's all most bodybuilders really care about. And you accept their lifestyle. That's it. Because that's really what it is. A lot of females are afraid of doing this because also they think that you're on drugs or something like that as well too. So I see some. I'm also going to respond to comments too because I'm demonetized. I might as well. Ken says, my friend asked me if he should take steroids. I told him no, he shouldn't unless he wants to compete. I would actually go above that, Ken, and say not unless he thinks he's going to turn pro or be a pro. I don't care if you're going to compete. If he wants to compete, this is what I tell people who line up and try to talk to me. Either it's a seminar that I show up to, signing autographs. When I show up, most of the time I sign autographs, it's usually for a store opening or when one of my posters gets put up for a gym or something like that. This happens occasionally here in the state that I live in. There's like 3 gyms with posters of me in there. So when I go and people ask, should I use steroids? I would say I wouldn't even say use it yet, even if you're going to compete. When I started competing as an amateur, I won local shows first. I won 3 different weight classes before I even thought about having a conversation with my coach about steroids. If you know that you can win on your own merit without taking drugs or steroids, it just grind hard in the gym. You know that the moment that you touch any gear, testosterone or anything else, you already beat the brakes off of people naturally. Just think what you can do with 5% of that. And that's all that is. It's just steroids are just going to help you recover from the work and hard work and discipline that you're already doing. It's not a magic pill. I don't care what anybody says, because you can eat a Snickers bar, lift, and then have a shitty diet. You're not going to see any muscle gains. It's not going to happen unless you're suffering and doing all the diet training to support said steroid use, even if you want to do this. And then here's the thing, though. I'm going to say this is a very brutal reality to anybody thinking about using steroids, because I know this comes up. It's a hot button topic. Here's the thing, though. Anytime you inject steroids in your body, meaning like I wouldn't even classify like testosterone as steroids. It's like a rejuvenation for somebody. Your body already produces testosterone anyway. So you can say that people through pubescence, puberty have the most amount of steroids in their body being flooded through that period of time. And matter of fact, when kids have their erection and all this, and they're going girl crazy, your testosterone's through the ceiling. And you would say that person's on steroids because their body's flooded and inundated with copious amounts of testosterone, which is what guys are doing anyways. In fact, the older you get, the more of a decline we have. Testosterone has declined throughout the ages of men. Matter of fact, you can see this evidence in grip strength reducing throughout the ages. Our grandfathers had higher grip strength than we do right now because testosterone overwhelmingly has gone down in males. So I think that also training, when you train legs, and I know I'm going through a lot, I'm going to spew a lot of information at you guys. When you train legs, which is a massive body part, it sends a big signal to your brain to release more testosterone, natural testosterone. Training legs is the biggest testosterone boost that anybody can get. If you have a leg day, matter of fact, there's there's a difference between me and amateur bodybuilders. Look at them and then look at me after leg day. There's a massive difference between these people. I mean, they're going to look like micro machines next to me when I train. And this isn't my hubris and ego talking. This is just objective reality. A pro bodybuilder and then a regular person. So back to this, I think that if you're going to go the route of steroids, just understand that anytime you put a needle in your body, you're going to put a steroid in your body, you're going to be taking years off your life. You guys can quote me on this. You guys can clip this. That's what's going to happen. Just make that assumption. Is this worth taking years off my life for me to take steroids? And then not to mention this, because you have to also maintain this. If you're shutting down your own body's production, taking steroids, just understand that for the rest of your life, you're going to be dependent on this because you're turning your switch off. When you take testosterone, you're sending a signal to your body to say, hey, we're going to stop gonadotropin production, and not to mention this, through our endocrine system and shut it down because our body has an external source of testosterone. We're going to then shut this down. Like, this is what you do when you recruit from an external source. Your body's like, we're not going to produce this because we already have it. That's why your nuts shrink when you get on testosterone. But back to this, I would suggest that nobody get on testosterone. Nobody get on steroids or anything else like this for under 2 cases. These are the cases. Unless you're going to use this for a rejuvenation process, maybe. And this is if you're older and your testosterone's plummeting and your estrogen's extremely high, there can be adverse effects. So we're using this to kind of combat that, right? There's a balance that has to happen. And then there's also mitigating factors like taking aromatization, anti-estrogen blockers, things like this. We can get into that later, but this is a whole different podcast for a different day. But right now we're going to dive into this. I would say don't take steroids, don't take testosterone or anything like that. Try to win on your own merit if you're going to compete, like I did. I competed naturally, won 3 different weight classes before I jumped on any gear. And even when I did, I have an autoimmune disorder. Can't even take it. Complications happen. Like I said, before you're going to take steroids or anything else, just understand before you put a needle in your body, is this worth taking years off my life? If I turn pro, will the glory be worth the deduction in years? I know it's a very nihilistic way to look at things, but I'm being very blunt and honest with you. This is the same conversation that I have with 18-year-old kids that come at me and say, Marte, I want to be like you. I want to turn pro. I want to win a show. You looked amazing. Like all this other stuff. And then it goes to, I'm waiting for it. The lead up to taking, steroids. I knew they were going to come up with this, and we have this conversation. Let's shut them down, and then they look heartbroken. That's because you need to work your ass off. That's because you need to diet and suffer. Nobody wants to suffer these days. But back to this whole conversation. I know I got lost in the weeds there for a little bit. So here's the thing, though. This is how you know girls are afraid to talk to you. They're going to be afraid to talk to you because either you look intimidating, you look like you have an ego. I don't know why this has been being placed with somehow there has to be an ego because I spend time developing a physique. People just automatically are going to have these stigmas and you're going to be assumed that you have an ego or you're going to be a jerk or an asshole. That's what's going to happen. Or you're going to look narcissistic because you have muscle. That's another reason why girls don't want to talk to you. This could be due to intimidation. This could be due to appearance. This could be also due to personality because maybe you do take steroids and you're a dickhead. Not necessarily related to size, but because you pay attention to your body, she's going to think that you're going to be a schnazi when it comes to even her diet, and you're going to force her to eat a certain way or look a certain way. And a lot of women don't want to be inundated with this. They want freedom to be with somebody who looks good, but they don't want the lifestyle. So that's another reason why girls aren't going to talk to you, to be honest with you. Another way that you know that you are a person that's above average in America is you're going to be asked to move heavy objects. People are going to ask you to move furniture. They're going to be asking for favors. People are going to automatically assume that you're strong. This is another thing. And they're automatically going to be like, well, you have all that muscle. You must be wanting to do something with like you can help me out. There's utility to this. Let's, help me move. I'm moving next week and you want to help me out? Or they'll say, ask Marte to move that, like at work for something like that or whatever. This is what's going to happen. People are also, and here's the other indicator. I'm rolling down the line of like top 1% to average person. People are going to be asking how long you've been lifting. This is what's getting big shows curiosity about your progress. And these are subtle signs above average development. People are going to ask you how long you've been lifting. What do you do? And I get these questions a lot. What do you do for your arms? What do you do for your back and chest? Mostly guys are going to ask you this. No woman's going to ask you, what do you do for your arms? Because women don't normally want to train. Like that's what's going to happen. Ken says, like, you're the mover by default. Yes, they're going to ask you for moving anything. This could be in the work environment or anything else. People see you and they're going to assume, oh, yeah, okay, I can ask Marte for help because he looks like he loves lifting. No, I don't like lifting heavy shit, to be honest with you. I just go to the gym and suffer because I like the suffering. I like the feeling of burning hot coals in my muscle when I'm training, and the searing heart, the searing pain when I'm training. That I'm always chasing that no matter when I'm in the gym. And to me, that's attractive to me. I like chasing pain. I like chasing suffering, all this. Same thing with debate. When it comes to debate, I like running towards the gunfire. I don't like evading people from debate. If I get crushed in a debate, Lord have mercy on me, then maybe I learn a little lot more. If I get crushed by a weight at the gym, I learn how not to lift next time. So there shouldn't be any fear when it comes to either one of these things, debate or training, but they're going to ask you, all these things, right? Here's the other thing that that you're in the 1 percentile of the nation when it comes to fitness standards or training, because we have a lot of lazy ass people in America. We have one of the fattest nations on earth. People are going to stare at you in public. That's what's going to happen. If you're wearing a gym, this is why I don't wear gym singlets out in public. This is why I don't wear tank tops when I go to Walmart, grocery stores, when I go run errands, things like this. I don't wear this because I stand out. There's a visual everyday setting that people get to see of me. And it's usually in an oversized shirt. It draws a lot of attention, so people are going to stop me all the time. And people will say comments, hey, lift much, bro. And I got to hear all the comments. That's why I wear baggy shirts, because I don't want to hear the comments, things like this. This is how you know that you're the 1 percentile of America and you lift. Here's another way that I knew that I was a part of the 1%. And this can apply to anybody, this list of things that I'm going to run down. And I know that people do things like there's an opposite list that I can do, but that's tired. How you need to lift. I'm doing the list of how you know that you're recognizably the 1% of the nation. This is very easy for you to do, to train to be the 1% of the nation, just being asked some of these things. Here's one reason why. When you fill out a place in commercial gyms, you are huge. If you fill out a place in like Planet Fitness, well, yeah, of course, Planet Fitness, you'd still be the 1% because we have lazy artards in this nation. If you fill out a place in EOS Fitness or any of these other regular commercial gyms, that's how you know that you're big. So you're going to be drawing a lot of attention in commercial gyms. That's what's going to happen as well, too. So a lot of this it's the 1% of feeling too big or too strong for regular gyms implies advanced development or some kind of specialization. That's how you know. Here's the other reason why you know that you are the 1%. So clothes never fit. Clothes are never going to fit. It's very hard for me to find pants because of my legs. That's a tough thing as well, too. Not to mention this, growing muscularity or changing body shape necessitates wardrobe changes. Like when I went to Big and Tall, they were like, we can't work with you. I had to go to a specialist who did fabric, pants, and all this other stuff because I had to go to a wedding. And, whatever seamstress can work with you, you're definitely going to be going to, when it comes to clothes, this is why a lot of bodybuilders wear sweats. That's why I opt in for wearing sweats, and I have very few jeans. Matter of fact, I only have one pair of jeans because of this. And they're oversized, and on the top of it, my waist is like bunched up because I have a tiny waist. So if you think about this, finding clothes is hard. And then people freak out when you're trying to find clothes no matter what. I have oversized. Matter of fact, I got in a tight shirt. I don't care. I'm starting out. So this is my before picture. You guys can't see the shirt and how it fits on me. But I'm going to have an after picture of like, holy crap, Marte, what have you been eating, cows? And that's what's going to look like 6 months from now. No gear, nothing. I'm going to show you guys how fast I can blow up. And because I'm getting back to competing on stage pretty soon. So here's another thing, though, too. Above average gym guys can even be a part of the 1%, and this can happen to anybody. Right? People ask you, and here's the other reason why you know that you're a part of the 1%. People are going to ask you for workout, diet advice. This means that you're like above average. This at least means above average, not exactly the 1%, but people are going to ask you for workout and diet advice. These are going to be beginners and everybody else. Like, they're going to stop you and say, hey, what do you eat? And they're going to, and to me, it's hard for me to like, when you do a diet for somebody, you're literally diagnosing a prescription because food is medicine. So this is why I also don't give random diets to people without checking blood work or going through anything else. Anybody that I've worked for, I've said, hey, can I get some blood work? You know, I always demand this. If nobody's asking you for blood work, they're being irresponsible. Because if you don't have any pre-existing conditions, anything else that could be a contradiction, allergies and things like this, and they're just handing you a cookie cutter diet, fire the shit out of that person. They don't know what they're doing. So the people are going to ask you for training advice or diet advice. That's how you know. Here's the other reason why I knew that I was big or part of the 1%. And this is like the range between above average and 1%. People are going to touch your arms. This is what's going to happen. They're going to grab your arms without even asking. They're going to SA you in public. This is how you know you're part of the 1%. You're going to get SA'd in public by people. They're going to grab your arms or touch your, oh, you think you got enough arms in there for everybody else? You know, things like that. Even dudes are going to touch your arm. That's what's going to happen. Sounds homo, but it's true. I went to Walmart one time to get groceries, or I think it was like Fry's or one of the grocery stores, or Kroger, one of these podunk grocery stores. And this guy literally mashed his girlfriend's face. And I was like in the produce or something like that. He mashed his girlfriend's face with his hand and was like, bro, what are you doing? And he like grabbed my arm right in front of his girl. I was like, bro, dude, we're in public and you're like essaying me in front of everybody. That's what's going to happen. That's how you also know that you're getting bigger. When people start touching your back, your arms and shoulders. What's funny about this is that nobody ever touches girls. Like, if a girl's big, they're never going to run up and violate her or SA her like this. Like, I'm just saying, I'm calling it SA because that's what it feels like when people grope you in public. And it's going to be more of a commonality. So that's how you also know that you're big or the 1% or above average. And not to mention this, but getting big physically attracts, the physical presence attracts unsolicited touching. It's often a sign of recognition or jest. They're either recognizing your progress or they're making fun of you. There is no black and white. I mean, there's a black and white. It's just no in between. It's just black and white. They're either acknowledging your hard work or they're making fun of you. That's just it. Dudes will literally go across the grocery store and be like, bro, is that real? And like tap my arm or something, like things like this. Like, that's happened. And the crazy thing about the guy mushing his girlfriend's face out of the way, how disrespectful is that? Just to touch my arms and be like, bro, what are you doing? What do you do for your arms, bro? Like, bro, you just mashed your girlfriend's face out of the way. Like, where you not even think, like, literally this happens. It's crazy. I'll get comments from security. They'll be like, bro, you should be working for us instead. Or, shit like this is all these comments. Here's the other way that you know that you're a part of the 1%. Steroid accusations. Now, on this channel, I get steroid accusations all the time. They're going to say this. So to me, I think that means that you're not a part of the 1%, but you're above average. So a lot of this can happen. So not only do the steroid accusations happen, but they associate this with above average gym guys. It suggests that you look noticeably muscular, beyond average gym goer level, but not necessarily huge. You can be lean and jacked, but not necessarily huge. You're going to be accused of steroids. They're going to automatically do you do steroids? Yeah, there's no way you could do, there's no way I could prove I don't do steroids, to be honest with you. It's just insane. Ken says, some grandma, you look like a strong boy. Yeah, grandmas all the time. Grandmas got cojones. They got balls and courage. They'll actually tell me, man, you look like they're going to be the most outspoken people, because women, unless they're grandma, they're not approaching or making comments. Matter of fact, I remember that there was a woman talking about me behind my back in a grocery store. She was like, man, what does that freak eat? And then I was literally turning the corner and I heard her while I was walking off. And I came right back around, and then she like shut up. She just so that's what's going to happen. People are going to talk about you when you're not looking about how you look. That's another way that you know that you're in between the 1% and above average to 1%. That's how you know this too. So here's the other thing too. Not to mention the steroid accusations, but the thing is, once you start getting size and getting bigger, there's no way that you can deny this, because you also can't prove that you don't use steroids, but they can't prove that you do use steroids. Because if I usually point to my grocery cart whenever I'm in the store and people say, so what are you on, bro? You know, I already know what they mean, what gear I'm on, steroids and things like that. I'll usually point down in my cart to all the chicken and beef that I have, and rice and potatoes and veggies. And I'll say, this is what I'm on right here, man. And I said, looking at your cart, and there was literally an exchange with that. I said, looking at your cart, I don't think there's a lot of gangs there, bro. He had like cereal, bonbons, whatever. So I was like, bro, this is what you need. If you get this, you could put on some size and muscle, but nobody wants to do that. So the only way that I can refute the steroid accusations is to point at my shopping cart or tell them this is what I eat. Like there's no way I can tell somebody in a debate, like I eat steak and everything. I can't show them that, but when in Rome, show them all the meat, rice, and everything else that you're actively eating, especially if you're in the grocery, because I get stopped in the grocery store. You think you got enough food for everybody? Or, you know, I hear all this at work when I bring all my meal prep stuff too. So here's the thing, though. This is how you also know that you're a part of the 1%. You're heavier than most people above average. Now, I know that this can be both ways. This can mean like you're obese or you're just jacked and big. So if you're heavier than most people, and I'm talking about weight relative to height can reflect muscularity, but it varies due to bone density, fat, and everything else. But I'm talking about jacked people. If you are jacked, you're going to be stopped and you're going to draw more attention, which goes back to my third point that I brought up. Here's the other way that you know that you're above average in fitness, and at least maybe borderline 1%. People assume that you're not smart. I kid you not. This is what's going to happen when I debate people online, whether or not it's through threads or whether or not it's X. They're going to assume that you're not smart. How do you know this? They're going to call you a meathead. Somehow that implies that because you train and you eat and you know you're good with nutrition, it means that your intelligence goes down somehow. I don't understand this. The stereotypes link to a very large muscularity. So to me, I think that intelligence is needed to train the way that we do. Quite the opposite happens. So when people call me a meathead or bodybuilders a meathead or start calling you a meathead, that's how you know that you're big. When people assume that you're not intelligent, I can easily refute this because the intelligence needed to formulate the macronutrients and actually to do a lot of education and the sound nutritional plan, it takes a lot of intelligence to even put this together and then go against your own, go around your contraindications that you have, pre-existing medical conditions, and do a lot of study and research. And then also research how to do certain lifts, acknowledge, like, even though this may be repetition, how to change it so it doesn't become too monotonous in the gym. There's so much intelligence that goes into developing a good physique. But for some reason, people equate this to you're a meathead, you're not intelligent, and people don't understand this. Matter of fact, it's most intelligent for people to be in fitness because when you train, bone density increases, meaning you're not going to be the grandma that fell and needed life alert because your hip broke, because guess what happens? Bone density increases when you lift, and you're staving off illness and also injuries into old age. And not to mention this, but you can pass this down through your genes as well too. There's gene modification that happens when you're training. A lot of intelligence there, but nobody ever talks about that. They discount it. I think somehow bodybuilders and people that lift get a bad rap. So when you start becoming the 1% and becoming above average, people are automatically going to call you meathead. Sometimes they're going to call you meathead or just assume that you're of low level intelligence. I don't know why this happens, but I think this is an advantage for me because they're like, oh, this bodybuilder can't debate. I'll debate him. Instantly wrecked in this fucking debate. So I'm just like, okay, great. So it's just crazy. Ken says propaganda in movies portraying muscular people as dumb and brutes. Yeah, But actually, it's an advantage. I want you to think I'm dumb and stupid. So when you do a debate, you get thoroughly wrecked, like Minar's going to be wrecked on Tuesday. But anyways, back to this. What is this? World Radio says, my brother worked out with dudes in the military. They used to get workout supplements from Korea that would turn up your heat and gave energy. That was part of pre-fight routine. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, man, but it takes there's a lot of things that we can talk about as far as the pharmacological part of this and the aspect of supplementation. But I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds with that, obviously. But that coincides with my initial last point. It takes a lot of intelligence to undergo a body transformation. A lot of discipline, a lot of research, but somehow people for some reason think that we're low level IQ. That's why the whole term meathead is the thing. And I get called meathead all the time. Oh, fucking, I'm not taking advice from a meathead. Oh, you mean the person that's obese currently right now and walking person that wants to order a large diet stroke with a triple bypass at burger menu deals? Like, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, but I talk to people all the time. I try to help them. They refuse it because they run away from discipline, accountability, and hard work. So anyways, so people assume that you're not smart, like I was saying. So here's the other reason why you know that you're big or above average. People are going to give you unsolicited advice, and this is from strangers. It's not a clear indicator that you're the 1% or above average, but people never stop giving advice. They're never going to stop giving you advice. Bro, you're lifting wrong. I don't think you're doing it wrong. Meanwhile, you're like 3 times the size as them, and they're trying to correct you on lifting advice. But here's the thing, though. Reduction of this might stop the gym status that you have. If you get smaller, you're going to be less approached, right? People are going to be less inclined to approach you because now you seem less competent in the gym. But like I said, this applies to above average and 1% people. Here's the other reason why I know that you're getting big or at least 1% or above average. People are going to ask you to re-rack your weights. Remember my whole initial point, you become a mover. What did Ken say? He said, I think it was Ken that says you automatically are defaulted into a mover. This is what's going to happen. They're going to ask you to re-rack their weights or move their weights or move weights for them or spot them. They're going to ask you all this stuff. You're automatically going to be defaulted into mover no matter what. So this is crazy. Yeah, I'm also going to answer some questions as well too, because I know that there are people that want to ask a pro information. Ken says, do you think Orthodox Christians fasting periods are a good time to cut? Would you lose muscle mass? There are ways to mitigate this. Glutamine can help stave this off. Branched chain amino acids can help stave this off. Taking in a lot of electrolytes and water can help stave this off. You're not going to lose. It takes, and I'm going to be honest with you, in order to lose quality sustained muscle, it takes 2 months. 2 months to lose like qualities. Like, if you really want to do this, you can do it faster, but I wouldn't recommend this. You know, we're talking about like your system being flooded with waste, which is your body catabolizing itself and you're going to be peeing brown shit. So it's bad. But normally, like, it takes, I would say 2 months to lose muscle. If you're going to but I don't think anybody's fasting that long. Short fasts aren't going to affect you that much. Now, your energy, if you're an Orthodox Christian and you're dieting, your energy is going to plummet through the basement, to be honest with you. That's why there's a certain trick that you can do. Like, I think that if you don't take caffeine normally and you don't take energy drinks, your receptors are like Pac-Man. They're like a letter C. Your receptors fresh are like this. But if you're the type of person that drinks 4 rock stars a day, your receptors are going to be like this. And they're only going to, that's why your immunity to caffeine closes a lot. Your receptors start closing. Now, all of a sudden, you don't have a good receiver for caffeine. I can get into like the cellular, on the cellular level, how this works with the body, but I'm not going to dive too much into the nerdy shit right now. But you know those people at work, or surely you must know somebody out there that drinks like 4 rock stars and they're like, oh, I can go to sleep after the 4th one. Their receptors are like this. Like, so if you're back to this, if you're an Orthodox Christian, you're going to fast. I would fast from caffeine before then, so that we have fresh receptors. And I know there are people that have headaches from taking breaks from caffeine. That's a whole nother thing which we can get into. But try to fast from caffeine before a fast. Even coffee, things like this. You want fresh receptors. And this is why you need to do this. You know how you take alcohol, and I know I'm going to equate two things that have no business being equated together. You know how you take alcohol and you have the person that is non-alcoholic like me, and I can get drunk on the first two beverages or whatever it is. My tolerance level is extremely low, right? Because I don't normally drink, right? Same thing with caffeine to some degree. I'm trying to like pin these two together. Now, if you don't take caffeine normally, even coffee, your tolerance level is going to be low. So, and then try to go on a fast from caffeine. And then right before this orthodox fast, then you could take coffee. Black coffee is going to be extremely powerful. There's antioxidants in black coffee and all this. And then guess what's going to happen? You can combat the energy levels that are plummeting through the basement because of low glycogen, maybe low carbs, things like this. I don't know what you guys are going to do for your fast, but like, let's say it's low carb and you're going to eat shrimp and veggies, things like this. Like you're going to do an extreme fast. I think that caffeine, if you have like a high receptor or low receptor tolerance for this, I think it's going to help you power you through this fast, and it's going to help. But make sure that you supplement with glutamine. That's going to prevent muscle loss, and branched chain amino acids, and sip those. If you're going to work out or train or anything like that, it prevents muscle loss a whole lot too. So yeah, it's going to help out a whole lot too. So Wickmoto says, I always laugh when I outweigh somebody that's almost a foot taller than me. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I was probably in off season 235 pounds 235 pounds. I was trying to push 240, but my blood pressure was getting crazy. I might push 230 in the off season. We'll see. It's going to get crazy. But yeah, I'm not the tallest guy, around 5'5", 5'6", and like I'm walking around and in the off season at 220, and then people are like, damn man, you know, it's like I'm looking at this guy that's like 6 foot tall, and I got him by 50 pounds. It's just crazy to just think about these metrics. Like, I don't know, but relatively the whole stupid thing that I keep hearing, muscle weighs more than fat. It's like, yeah, whatever, of course, because where does the water go? Doesn't go where the fat's going. and if you have, and let's say that you're picking up a case of water, it's heavy as shit, right? Guess where all the water goes? You're going to be heavy as shit. So there's also that as well too. Hydrated muscle is going to be heavy as shit. So anyways, here's the other thing too we're going to get into. This is very funny too. Not only are people going to default you to mover and ask you to re-rack their weights, help out, people are going to copy your rest times in the gym, and they're going to copy your workouts. So I remember going to the gym, and this is how you also know that you're at least the 1% or above average. You're going to be watched in the gym, and then people are then going to be copying your training session. Unbeknownst to you, you're going to be like, man, I was doing those yesterday. That person's doing the same training session I was doing. They're going to be copying you in the gym. They're also going to be like, if you mention anything about your diet, they're all of a sudden going to be copying that. I've been told numerous times, like, hey, you told me that you don't eat cheese or dairy when you're dieting. I've since cut that out. Well, I didn't tell this person to cut it out. I just told them I don't do it. Now all of a sudden, this is why I also don't give advice to people, because for one, I don't have their blood work. I don't know what their pre-existing conditions are. I don't know what the contraindications are. I don't know what your panels look like. So when I give people any kind of advice, it's more like, hey, just focus harder in the gym and stay things like that. I'm not going to give them nutrition advice in the gym, because you're literally prescribing people something. Whether or not it's diet or whatever this is, absent knowing their family history, if they have a history of heart attack, anything like this, and you're just going to give them some cookie cutter shit. Yeah, it's bad, man. That's why I don't hand out diets to people without, if you're going to be a mechanic and you work on somebody, are you going to work on the car without even looking under the hood to know what the status is? Are you going to do some auto body work without doing a diagnostic? That's literally what people do all the time. Oh, this is how I got big. You need to eat this and you need to do that. Well, that person's physiognomy is different than yours. Their body's different. Their blood work's different than yours. Their blood type's different than yours. And like, you never know what somebody's dealing with as well too. So food changes your mood, everything else. It affects your endocrine system and everything else down to the cellular structure. Just crazy stuff, man. So here's the thing though too. So people not only will copy your exercise times, above average gym guys are going to see you as a role model or an advanced lifter. That's another way that you're going to know that you're above 1% or at least above average in the gym. So you're going to be seen as a role model or somebody to follow or pattern after. That's what's going to happen naturally. If you go to the gym and then people see you, they're like, oh man, go ask that guy for advice. He looks like he knows it. And next thing you know, and this is why I train at certain gyms. I don't train at commercial gyms because people are going to constantly stop me when I'm training. Bro, what do you do to get legs like that? Like I'm in the middle of like squatting 500 pounds, like, and somebody's going to ask you, hey bro, what do you do? Fuck off. Like, to be honest, go fuck away from me. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with them. It's just say, bro, just I'm in the middle of this set, man. You want to like approach me after I'm done? You could like, I try to be as kind to people as possible and say, hey, can you hit me up after I'm done, man? I'm in the middle of doing this, man. Because I need to be present. You know, I need to be physically present because as soon as I grab, and this is what you need to do. If you're going to focus in the gym, as soon as you grab that dumbbell's going to be a part of your DNA. It's an extension of you, and you're working with this weight to try to build this muscle and build this physique, whether or not you're the stay-at-home mom that wants to eliminate body fat, or you're the dad that wants to be healthy enough to be alive and chase your kids into his 60s and things like this, or you want to be the person that wants to physically defend your family and be capable and have some utility as well, too, because bodies serve so many functions. I mean, I'm not going to go into looks and all this other stuff, but that just comes with it. But just think about the functions. So let's get into this real quick. Do you ever train at Metroflex? That's my home gym. Yeah, that's my. I have a video training with Branch Warren and Ronnie Coleman's trained. Like I haven't went to the one in Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth Metroflex, but in my city we have a Metroflex, and anybody that's a pro athlete gets in for free. And they have this big ass poster of me on the wall. As soon as you walk in the gym, you look on the right, and there's me. And of course I signed all the photos that I have of posters and people putting me in the gym and all this other stuff. There's like a store with a big ass poster of me and some supplement shop and stuff. And they had their grand opening. I was signing autographs, taking pictures and all that stuff. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I've trained at Metroflex. It's a really good gym. There's dust on the weights, almost like you might need to get a tetanus shot, but I'm not going to be bothered at Metroflex if I'm training. People aren't going to stop me and ask me, bro, what do you do for legs? And even if they do, they're going to be like, I'm going to wait till he's done. Either they're intimidated, they're going to wait till you're done training or whatever. That's it. So let's go on through this list too. So here's another way that you know that you're a part of the 1% or above average when it comes to fitness. People are going to give you extra space subconsciously. This is what's going to happen. I've literally had people, when I was at the gym, run into a wall because they thought some perceived space that they didn't have walking past me. So there's also that. So your presence and posture can cause others to avoid crowding you. This is what's going to happen in public, in Walmart, and everywhere else. I'm not talking about the people with ILS, imaginary lat syndrome, and flare their arms out because they think, I don't know if that's ego or whatever this is, or maybe they're making up for something, but people that are really big, that don't have to do all the theatrics or any of that stuff, people are going to give you extra space. That's how you also know. Here's another way that you know that you're a part of the 1% or above average when you go train. Big guys are going to acknowledge you in the gym. That's what's going to happen. Advanced lifters or pro athletes or anybody else is going to automatically respect the shit out of you. They're going to walk up to you and be like, hey, bro, what's up, man? And believe it or not, all the pro bodybuilders that I know, most of them, like maybe less than 1%, don't get along. All of them get along. Like I could see a guy that looks extremely developed and he could look at me and be like, that must be a pro. He's going to walk up to me, say, what's up, bro? Give me a dap, and then, go about his workout or whatever. You're going to be acknowledged by big ass guys in the gym. This is what's going to happen. This is how you know. And this is like my elite 1% people. This is what's going to happen. And that sets above average, the difference between above average to elite 1%. I've gotten stopped in the gym from other pros. Even people that played for Arizona Cardinals, when I was training in their facility, because I went over there because there's a rehab place, I go there and train for free because they let all the pros, no matter what sport you're in, go there and train, and they stop me in my training session, and they'll be like, bro, what do you do for those arms? What do you do for your back or whatever? Because even if they play and there's utility in football, they're going to be like, okay, I'm asking about the development because I want this to get bigger because maybe they're chasing girls. I don't know what it is, but yeah, people all of a sudden stop you no matter what. And this is what's going to happen no matter what. So here's another thing too. General gym compliments from peers. You're going to get reinforcement from fellow gym goers, and it indicates noticeable progress. That's what's going to happen. And this can be average people in the gym to the 1% elite, no matter what. If you're training hard and you want to get your level up as far as like your fitness, muscle, everything else like that, that's how you know there's a differentiation between above average and 1%. This is for my above average people that are training in the gym. People are going to stop you and they're going to compliment you no matter what. It's rare that I get compliments from women. It's rare because either they're intimidated or scared. You're not going to get this. And then, like I said, people are going to call you a meathead. They're going to assume you're stupid. I don't know why, because it takes, like I was saying before, it takes a lot of intelligence to formulate a meal plan, nutrition, get macronutrients, understand the science of training, understand the science of diet, understand the science of drugs, all this other stuff. But for some reason, people get labeled meatheads and stupid. That's what's also going to happen to you too. You're going to fall into this. I say the more muscular development that you have and the more ingrained in fitness that you have, you're going to be perceived as dumber. I don't know why that happens. It's just, matter of fact, I would say the obese people are dumb automatically. But for some reason, some of them get titled as geniuses when really they're lazy as I don't understand. Maybe you could be a genius and obese, but I understand that there's probably the 1% people that are making everybody look bad as meatheads, because all it takes is one bad apple, just like the police or anything else in any other situation. So here's how you also know that you're above average or the 1%. This is the thing, though. You're going to be self-conscious about your size. You're going to be more self-conscious the bigger you get and the more muscular you get. Yeah, I don't care who you are and how competent you think you are, you're going to be more self-conscious because your presence is going to be more imposing to everybody else. You're going to get more compliments. You're going to get more intimidated people. You're going to get called meathead. All this other stuff rounds up with this. In the fact that you have more self-consciousness going on about you, as far as like you being more aware of yourself. That's neither here nor there, but you're going to be just more self-conscious of your presence in other people's lives. So this can also create body dysmorphia. That's how you also know that you're the 1% or above average. I would say not even above average, but the 1%. When you start developing body dysmorphia, that's how you also know this too. So another thing that's common amongst big lifters is bigger size does not prevent insecurity. So people also think that when you get bigger, you're going to be more, you're going to be less insecure. No, it's quite the opposite, because you got more attention. Now people are telling you to think about your physique more than you would if people weren't approaching you or all this other stuff, right? Here's the other reason why you know that you're above average or the 1%. You're always freaking hungry. You're always hungry. It's always going to be the thing going, and you're always going to have food, but people are going to comment either on your food you're eating or the fact that you're always hungry no matter what. They're either going to make fat jokes, even though you're not fat, or tell you, did you bring enough from everybody from Walmart, or the grocery store? You're going to get compliments all the time. They're either going to say this in jest or admiration, like I said. So not only this, but let's go back on this. You're going to be SA'd in public. I know I said that before. People are going to touch your arms and feel your arms. Whoa, big guy, you got enough guns for everybody? Like, you're going to hear all this. It's going to happen, man. I've been SA'd numerous times. And yes, I'm calling it SA because it's unwarranted physical touching and advances. Guys have literally came up to me and just grabbed their arms, mushed their girlfriend's face out of the way, all this stuff. Just crazy, man. I don't know what's going on in the chat, but let's see. NPC The Game says, Modern Men Lost Again wants to debate you on feelings versus logic. I don't know what they're talking about. Maybe you guys can clear this up for me. I don't know what's going on. Let's see real quick. Can you have a conversation with Landry? Landry needs to talk to you. I don't know who Landry is. Never. I don't know who you're talking about. So here's the other thing too, is that I'll tell you this right now. There are more people that know me than I know of them. That's how you know you're the one. And this is like the 1%. That's how you know you're part of the 1%. When people come up to me and ask me, bro, that last competition you did was badass, I'm a fan, or what? I don't even know who these people are. I've been stopped at Walmart, hey, like I remember there was a guy that was a janitor, and I keep saying Walmart because I buy so much meat, it's ridiculous. This guy literally dropped his mop ran over to me and said, bro, I don't have my phone, but are you going anywhere? And I was like, what the like, and it was like when Walmart, you remember when Walmart was like 24 hours? He said, I'm going to grab my friend's phone. I'm going to take a picture. You don't mind, do you? I don't know who the hell this guy was, but it wasn't an isolated incident. People stopped me on the street. They've stopped me in stores and say, hey, can I get a pic with you, bro? This is crazy. Or can my girl get a picture with you? And of course, what's disrespectful is they'll have their girl take a picture with me. And her girl will essay me in the picture. She'll like feel my arms and grab my arms. And then like, it's the most awkward photo op I've ever taken in my life. Like when guys tell their girlfriends to take pictures with me. It was crazy. Like they think they're doing me an honor or some justice. No, it's not. It's very cringe. So if you see a pro athlete or anybody out there and you're asking your girl to take a picture with him and your girl's touching my arm, that's cringe. Matter of fact, I feel like you're getting cucked in front of me. That's what I felt like. I felt like this dude was in the cuck chair, but she was just touching my arm to take it for a picture. But I'm just like, oh, this is crazy. So really weird stuff. So I'm just saying. This guy says you only have hold on. You only have 3 people. No, it's 21. I have 18 on X and 3 on YouTube. So yeah, try again. So this is crazy. Let me see real quick. Modern men law. I want to debate the king of the panelverse, Marte. Are you talking to me or some other guy? I have no clue who this is. I know. Wait, Modern Men Lost. I think I talked to you one time on the panel. I don't even think you were adjacent to any discussion that was happening at the time, or even what you were saying was analogous to what I was talking about at the time. You just wanted to crash the panel, and you didn't like it. It's like if I jumped in a conversation, I didn't know what people were talking about before, but I just started rambling. That's all it was when you jumped in. So it's really weird. So anyways, here's the other thing too, is like, you're going to feel self-conscious about your body no matter what. So also newbies avoid gym equipment, or you hesitate about asking anybody else for help. That's what's going to happen, especially if you're a newbie. This is what's going to happen a lot. So remember when I talk about body dysmorphia, a lot of this is going to happen because it just comes part and parcel with becoming self-conscious about your body and growing big. So you're going to have a huge high caloric intake, especially if you're going to get big. It comes with the territory. Mind you, if I'm holding like an open panel in my chat, so if you guys have any questions as far as fitness or anything else, much obliged. You guys can go ahead and ask away about steroids or anything else. I really don't care. I'm an open book when it comes to this. So here's the other thing too, is like people stop and watch your lifts. This is like, and I would say this is like the 1%, right? Rarely is it that somebody's benching like 4 plates or 3.5 plates or something like that, and the guy's small. So that's how you also know that you're big. If you're squatting 5 plates or like 4 plates or something like that, or you're deadlifting 8, 7, 6, you're a big mofo. You know, you're a big mo. So people are going to stop. Like, there's times when I got in the gym and I squatted, and literally people stopped their sets and was like, bro, look, this is crazy. And like, I can't hear them because usually I have like headphones on or something else. And then as soon as I rack it, I turn and people act like they were like doing whatever they were doing. That's what's going to happen. And this is reserved for like the 1%. That's how you know you're part of the 1%. If people are going to stop and watch you lift, like they'll literally stop their whole world just to watch you do this. And this could be like a PR that you're doing or something else like this. It's rare and it signifies exceptional strength of physique. It often makes you the center of attention. That's what's going to happen all the time when it goes to this. Here's the other reason why you know that you're a 1%er. And I know I'm going on my list of like above average to just 1%. I'm making this as black and white as possible. Here's how you know you're the 1%. You go viral. So you post a picture, that picture's shared like thousands of times throughout the day. You post a video, same thing. That's how you know you're a part of the 1%. When you go viral for just posting your image. So, and I'm talking about men here. specifically, because I know that there's OnlyFans thoughts out there that go viral and they don't train. There's no discipline in doing that. I'm talking about the people that lift and train. So that's how you also know. So there are guys out there that post physique transformations, things like this that are spectacular. Kudos to you if you're going to do this, especially for health reasons, if you're going to improve your health for your family, loved ones, and be more utilized for the greater good of your family. If you're the head of the household, the patriarch, all this is great utility. Because if somebody breaks in your house, you better damn well defend it. And also, you want to be able to chase your kids at 6 years old. You know, you don't want to fall and break a hip, be on the Life Alert commercials. Like I was saying, I know I'm repeating myself real quick. So body dysmorphia is common regardless of actual size. I know people are saying, oh, you have to be big to have bodies. No, if you make slight changes and then people start complimenting you, you're going to be more self-conscious. That cracks the door open for body dysmorphia to happen. That's what's going to happen. So also, the social interactions at the gym are going to become more nuanced. That's how you know that you're above average. You're going to have conversations that you would have never had if you were just an average person. Matter of fact, now you're getting approached. That's what's going to happen too. So a lot of this depends on like your personality, you know, whether or not you're an extrovert at the gym or anything like that. Staying lean and consistent often leads to being mistaken for a competitor or training, even if you're not hugely muscular. The above average gym goer is far from elite. That's my whole point in this whole podcast that I'm doing right now. So surpassing this baseline can feel like you're bigger than you think. So my whole point with this whole podcast is to say that this is how you know that you're putting on size, and this is how you know that you're above average, and this is how you know that you're elite. And I also want to dispel the rumors of bodybuilders being less intelligent or being meatheads or people that really don't have their wits about them. Like I said, you know, I do debates all the time. The Menard debate's happening, and I know I got into like a little tiff on X today with some liberal guy. He shall not be named. But when I challenge liberals to debates, they often see my profile picture. Well, I changed it to like me in a suit or whatever it is. That's because, so here's another thing too. People will look at that and they'll say it's gay because I'm wearing bodybuilding trunks, or which looks like people call them a thong, but they're called posing trunks. Like I'll have pictures with that and they'll say that, oh, this guy's, he's thirst trapping. Okay. I'm thirst trapping when I suffered for probably like 6 months to get down to like 5% body fat to thirst trap. I don't know who's suffering this much to where they're eating greens and fish for 2 straight months to get their body. And then on the treadmill, eating greens and fish for 2 straight months to get your body fat down to like the sub 5 percentile, like I did, to thirst trap. That's a crazy take to say, oh, in one of the photos was like before I competed at the Europa or me competing as a bodybuilder. That's thirst trapping. When, remember at the beginning of the conversation, I said something like women are intimidated to talk to you because they're automatically going to assume this guy's too strict. I can't date him. He's going to put me on a diet. Oh shit. If I date him, it means I can't eat cake. You're going to have all these preconceived notions and women are going to be less inclined to talk to you. So who the am I thirst trapped? To be honest, actually suffering a lot throughout this dieting process. I've trained with some of the greatest athletes in the sport. I've trained with, didn't train with Ronnie Coleman, but I trained with Branch Warren. Kai Green's a good friend. I have many other good friends. And Danny Hester, one of the people that have won the Olympia, one of my good friends. He's actually going to be on the podcast in about 2 weeks. Jay Cutler took me out to dinner as a celebratory thing with my team and my coach. The moment that I won the California as a lightweight, which has never been done in the history of me doing these sports. So that's what I'm saying. So hold on. I have some comments. Hamarte, listen, I heard what you had to say before I started coming at you. You want to talk or run? I'm not intimidated. Listen, Beth, I feel like you're a snake. And this is why. Beth, you have said that I talk shit about Dusty when I've never, one, said anything personal towards him. The only things that I said about this man was about his rhetoric, his lingo, comments, his hit pieces and things like this. I don't attack him personally or anything like that. I don't attack any of you, but you have talked a lot of shit about me behind my back. Destroyed you in a debate before. That can obviously happen again. I don't trust you. You're a sewing circle Christian. Just gonna tell it like it is. You're a sewing circle Christian. You will go over to Dusty's side and befriend people that call me gay. Meanwhile, those people hang around guys like 10th Man, who is actually gay, who hang around Fox, who is actually gay, who hang around. This list can go on for about infinitum, actually. So that's the thing, though. You hang out with people that attack me, the Wilsons, and everybody else. Yet your justification is I'm friends with them. Oh, I don't want to abandon friends. Yeah, I mean, sewing circle Christians do this all the time. Your position is conditional. That's all I have to say about that. I don't trust you at all. That's it. It's just really insane. Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, Wickmoda says I talk shit about Dusty constantly. I don't actually. I don't think that he's relevant enough to actually talk shit about, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I don't think about you, Beth, at all. You're out of sight, out of mind, in my opinion. I used to be in your server for Discord, but I've since disconnected myself. It doesn't really make any sense. So what is this? Let me check this out. Have you ever been to prison? I've taken inmates to prison. I've taken people to prison, did drop-offs, yeah. But in prison, no. To prison, yes. I was in law enforcement for 13 years. So, yeah. I don't know what how that's analogous to what we're talking about right now. So, just crazy stuff. Let me see real quick. Hate me, I don't care. I did nothing wrong. Yeah, Judas didn't think he did anything wrong until he got the 30 coins. So I didn't do nothing. Like that woman who got shot, Renee, thought she did nothing wrong. So there's a lot of you ilk that think that they do nothing wrong. But in a sense, that's why I don't hang out with you guys, because objectively, in your own mind, you think you do nothing wrong. So meanwhile, you're hanging with people who do hit pieces on me. Sarah, the Raging Potato, who has done a hit piece on me, painted me as a gay reindeer. It literally put gay in the reindeer when really I've defended her viciously on X when she was getting attacked. When these people were attacking her, I then said that she's not a biased moderator. I defended her vehemently. I defended Sarah, only for Sarah to turn around and attack me and call me a gay reindeer and put this little hit. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that's the thing, though. Beth, I've actually defended you behind your back as well, too, in servers. But what do? You hang out with people who attack me and do hit pieces. Judas Iscariot as a woman. Like, that's crazy. This is just insane. And yeah, I am saying this. Like, none of this makes any sense at all. Like, I've defended Sarah Potato. I've defended you even in the past because you've been attacked, and I've defended you. I don't do that anymore. Matter of fact, when people bring up Beth, I don't even want to talk about. I change the subject. When people bring you up, I change the subject. When most of the time when people bring up Dusty, I change the subject because still, even today, Beth, I don't attack you personally. I don't attack Dusty personally. I don't attack 10th Man personally. I only attack ideas because stupid people attack people. I only deal with ideas and belief systems. That's it. I can give a damn about you people as people. I don't really care about your past, Dusty's history. He gets meth accusations all the time. I don't care about his past. Who cares? I just care about the arguments and the rhetoric. That's it. That's all I'm here for, is the arguments and the rhetoric. And if you guys are going to go into my past and only look at the bad stuff, not look at the accomplishments, I beat a world record holder, had a contract with Nike. I help out kids in the inner city, even today, help build a gym. Oh, you guys don't want to cover any of that stuff. You guys don't want to cover anything good that Marte has done. Let's only focus on he's gay, he did this, he did whatever. Meanwhile, got baptized. The old me died. I'm an Orthodox Christian, no longer a catechumen, but this is the problem with you ilk out there, is that when somebody changes their life, baptism, this is why you're a sewing circle Christian, Beth. This is logically, tell me if I'm wrong, how I'm going to piece this together. This is why you're a sewing circle Christian, because even if I get baptized, even if I seek redemption, I'm still gay. Even though there's no proof that I've ever done anything gay, you still attack me with people that attack me as well too. Because let's say you never say anything and you're hanging with the people that do say anything, you're still complicit because of association still. Yeah. Broad strokes, I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit. Because you are, if that's not the definition of a snake, I don't know what is. You guys are snakes. Meanwhile, want to call me gay and tell me I'm homo and all this other. I don't understand what Dusty's fascination with trying to make me gay is. Meanwhile, I got him on video shaking his ass, but you know how that's not a personal attack? That is what is. Literally shaking his ass on the camera, and the black girl was making a comment. I literally just covered that. And then you're on streams when I got people stream sniping for me and telling me Marte Best talking shit about you again. Literally got receipts on that. Dusty, this person talking shit, literally got receipts on that too. Try to find receipts about me talking about you personally. Try to find receipts about me talking about Dusty's personal life. They don't exist. You guys are attacking a man that has asked for Christ for redemption. You guys are attacking a man that doesn't attack you guys personally or directly in a personal way. I don't go after kids, families, any of that stuff. Meanwhile, you guys would do that to me. And this is crazy. This is just insane. I don't understand this. So, I apologize for my words, Marte, while moderating. My actions reflect on you. I will do better. Relentless. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Don't understand, man. Maybe you feel like you didn't do a good job. I think you do a fairly good job. The gain deer. Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds based. I don't understand this. To be fair, Judas had less facial hair. Oh God, this is bad, bro. Like I said, I'm not the one saying all this. Don't pin that on me. So, guilty by association. Like, hey, hold these men accountable for their own thing. But I'm not supporting anything personal aimed at any of you guys, because I don't attack you guys. And I legit asked Dusty when he was on the panel with me. I said, Dusty, why do you attack me and Andrew Wilson and everybody else when we don't attack you? Notice how I had the loudest crickets in the background hearing this. He didn't have a comeback for that. He didn't have a response. There was no counter because he has no justification for this. Meanwhile, Dusty, oh, this is crazy. Matter of fact, let me show this. All right. If we're going to do this, we might as well go full throttle. Ah, boy. For me to do this is crazy. But you know what? I just have to do this. Hold on. I got to bring this up real quick. This is crazy. Theist. Okay. Here we go. This was the most cringe thing. This was crazy. I'm covering this. Let's just, we're going to do this. We're going to cover it right now since, Beth, you want to go ahead and just be the way that you are and say, oh, you're cowardly. You don't want, you're too intimidated. I'm not intimidated of you, Marte. That's because you're behind a keyboard, Beth. You're behind a keyboard. If we were fate, you would never say the shit that you say. Dusty would never say the shit that he says. If I was in his presence, if I was in your presence, 10th man would never say the shit that he says if I was in your presence. To be honest, I'd say, you know what? I'm not hurting them. I only folded them and stuffed them in a trash can. You didn't get hurt. You just got restrained in a trash can. That's what would happen, to be honest. Like nothing, like you guys say this shit because we're all protected by keyboards, online, all this other shit. Meanwhile, the ex-agent, professional athlete who has dealt with scumbag crime lords and dealt with the worst of society, some of the most toughest, despicable men, and put them down in law enforcement, in bodybuilding, destroyed Germans that try to fly 19 hours to compete against me, beat world record holders, all this shit. I might as well be fucking Black Captain America in this bitch. And you guys could say all this shit online. You guys would not say this shit IRL. Would not be happening. Christ have mercy on me, a sinner, by the way. All right, let's cover this, because if we're going to be covering this, we might as well share the screen real quick. This was painful. This was extremely painful to watch because I had secondhand embarrassment from this. Oh, so painful. Here we go. Dusty got grinded into dust here. Into dust. Let's begin.
I don't think you know what the ISOP problem is. So it's not even, I'm not even going to be able to have a fruitful conversation on that if you're not even aware of that stuff. So I have to restrain myself because people are just, you know.
Because I'm too stupid. What is the ISOP problem?
He said because I'm too stupid.
You apparently want to have this conversation because you're sitting there talking shit about what I do or don't know. What is the ISOP problem, big brains?
Well, I mean, you're the one that said there's no odds. So that tells me that you don't know.
I don't understand what the ISOP problem is, obviously. Why don't you explain it to me?
You can't get a moral normative claim and ought, what you ought to believe, if everything just is. And so this is a problem in philosophy because people have tried to give claims that are moral and binding when they have a metaphysic or a worldview, say materialism. I don't know if that's your view. You may not be a materialist, but if you're a materialist, for example, like say Sam Harris is, right, when he argues with Jordan Peterson, this comes up because Peterson says, well, you can't get an ought from an is, which is true. You can't get an ought from an is. So if everything just is, there's not a justification for saying that there ought to be an NAP or we ought not murder people or whatever. It's just an assertion with no justification.
So tearing the morality down, wouldn't that be kind of...
So just to go ahead and bring everybody up to speed on this, Dusty got ground into dust. That's what happened. Dusty got ground into dust, which is crazy. NPC, the game says Marte Relis, you just got raided by Modern Men, lost again. Different raid, to be honest with you. I don't know what to make of this raid because I know I had a conversation with him. No comment, by the way. It's a lot to process. But anyways, back to this. Dusty got destroyed so bad. This was not only cringeworthy, but it was painful to watch. Extremely painful to watch. The way that Dusty got destroyed so bad in this.
Taking it back to kind of throwing off the religious concept. If you take the religion out, no longer, it's not a religious.
Let's fast forward to the part that's hard to watch. This was extremely painful. I can recall very few times when somebody got destroyed this bad. This was brutal. Like, it hurt me to watch this.
Aspect. There's no foundation in my morals and values. Therefore, it doesn't matter what we do. There is no shame. There is no between abortion, TRANS, all of these different things. And I feel like that's a lot of that, because my foundation on why these things are bad is, well, the Bible tells me. I go to church and this is something I believe in, and I can't. That would be the first thing I would.
I mean, I think.
All right, I want to get to the part where Dusty's talking. I could care less what Sarah Potato's saying right now.
That ultimately, with born out of for the practical reason, total free love.
What's up?
Here we go.
Doesn't everybody think that about their denomination, though?
I guess, but what would that have to do with whether it's true or false?
This is when Dusty gets ground to dust, pulverized. Oh, this was so I want everybody to pay attention to the demolishing of Dusty. He has no epistemic justification, but when he goes into his worldview, it's circular and it just boils down to preference.
Why would anybody? So the saying that religion or a deistic belief is necessary for morality seems to imply that there is no pragmatic reason for morality aside from appeasing God.
Pragmatism, I mean, doesn't get you to justification. So
What do you mean?
So I make the arguments from a logical perspective, philosophical perspective. So if I talk about justifying one's moral claims or one's worldview, I mean it in a philosophical sense, giving an epistemic justification for that belief. So pragmatism doesn't get you to epistemic justification.
But it would get you moral behavior, right? If we're a social animal and it's a better survival strategy for me to...
You see how he doesn't go to justification? He doesn't even have an ought. He has an is, but he doesn't have an ought at all. They don't even have a justification. There's nothing he's grounding this in. It's almost like this went over his head.
treat you well than to fight you, we still end up at moral behavior, more or less. The broad strokes are the same.
Yeah, but what does it mean to treat somebody well? I mean, it's a sort of a vague, broad scope there.
Sure. I think that negative rights is where we could draw the line, right? Because nobody can agree on what we do want done to us, but we all know that everybody can agree that we don't want our free will violated. We don't want to be coerced.
Not everybody believes that. Not everybody agrees with that. And why should we think that something should be held to because everyone agrees to it? So
by definition, everybody would agree to it.
What?
By definition, everybody would agree to it, because the minute you do want your free will violated, your free will is no longer being violated.
Nothing what he's saying is making any sense. It's just moral relativism. Matter of fact, the golden rule has a fault in it. Matter of fact, when they say treat other people how you want to be treated, we've all heard this before, right? How do I know somebody else wants to be treated how Marte wants to be treated? Right? You don't know that. I like suffering in the gym. Do you think anybody else wants this? I want to be treated as a bodybuilder that trains hard, suffers, all this other stuff. Do you think somebody else wants to be treated like this? Doesn't really make any sense. No sense at all. He doesn't have any justification at all.
People who are masochistic, who are psycho, who do not care about their own will or other people's wills.
They care about their own will.
Some people like to undergo pain and punishment is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, like I was saying, I'm a bodybuilder. I like undergoing pain and punishment, which refutes his whole point.
Or psychotic.
Right. I didn't say harm. I said free will. If you enjoy pain, that would then receiving pain would still be aligned with your free will. It'd be voluntary.
I'm saying that there are people who don't have any concern for the non-aggression principle, and there's no such thing as a non-aggression principle without any kind of transcendent basis. You can't tell me why I can't aggress people or why you ought not aggress people if the rule is nature, if natural law is what determines it. Well, the law of nature shows me predators and prey. Why can I not aggress and violate the NAP?
Well, you can. I would say that I don't even think we need a higher ought claim. We can look at cooperation as a survival strategy, and it will inevitably produce the same results.
About surviving. Why should I care about you or anyone else surviving?
You don't need to. You can care about only yourself surviving.
Well, then that refutes what you just said.
No, it doesn't. It'd be in my best interest to cooperate with you. Don't you agree that cooperation is more?
Like we have the cum warriors of Papua New Guinea, right? They're aggressing against these miners the whole time, when really, if it's groupthink and we could say that this whole population has this traditional structure, they don't think they're harming anybody. The kids don't think they're harming anybody. Like, this is what Dusty doesn't understand at all. He, like I said, he has no epistemic grounding, or he can't form any oughts. Like you have no place to say where these oughts come from. There's no epistemic foundation at all. I know I keep repeating myself, but this is just insane.
I'm talking about, you said there's no such thing, there's no need for oughts. If that's the case, then we ought not follow the NAP, right?
Okay, let me rephrase that.
Ought we follow your position that there's no oughts?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, so then you're not making an argument. So it's relative.
By ought, I meant there's no need for a higher God, transcendental ought.
Okay, ought we believe that?
You ought to believe whatever you want.
So then you're not making an argument.
I was making an argument.
If I ought not believe it, you're not making an argument. Arguments.
Okay, so you would say I ought to believe what you say because God or something? Like, how does that dial back?
No, that's why I was talking about epistemic justification.
If you can notice by Jay Dyer's body language, he's frustrated. He's extremely frustrated. Nothing. He has nothing for Jay Dyer. Jay Dyer is bored out of his mind and frustrated. The fact that he has to deal with this, I don't even know what to call it right now. It's going over his head. It's going over his head because he has no odds. There's no justification or anything like that. Like Ken says, let me tell you about an island by the name of Papua New Guinea. You already know where this is going. So it's like all Dusty has is moral relativism. And when you have moral relativism, like what's adjacent to this is just nihilism. They have no transcendental arguments on their side at all. Nothing from which to derive their oughts from.
Can we take the next caller?
Jay was done. He said, can we take the next flow state? His brain shut down. I don't know what happened, but he just ruined everything. Just like his night was going good. Jay Dyer was like, you know what? I'm going to have somebody that can challenge this rhetoric or give me a good argument. Dusty didn't even bring an argument. Thought he did. He just brought circular reasoning and moral relativism, which leads to nothing but a non-argument.
Nobody else popped up. I missed the basis of the conversation, so I don't know where that was going or where that came from. Yeah, so I don't know.
Take the next one.
If anybody else wants to pop on, it is the link is pinned, you guys, if you have questions or whatever. Yeah, he's probably bored out of his mind.
Yeah, Jay is bored out of his mind. There's nothing Dusty's doing to challenge anybody. Like, this is what I meant by Dusty getting ground into dust. That, like, this is crazy. Jay Dyer is bored out of his mind. There's no challenge, no argument, no epistemic justification, circular reasoning, nothing. Moral relativism from Dusty. That's it. This was extremely painful to watch. Mo Rebuttal says, I saw this. Jay was so bored the whole time. Wait until Jim Bob gets on. He starts roasting 10th Man. Yeah, this is crazy. But like I was saying, Dusty wants to call me gay the whole time and do all this. Meanwhile, his friends are Fox and 10th Man, actual gay people. But he wants to call me gay. When really he has gay people that he surrounds himself with. Crazy. Oh, Mo's here. Since Mo's here, shout out to my boy Copper. You guys don't know who that is, but shout out to Copper. If you're hearing Copper, what's up, bro? You're my boy. One of the baddest men on the planet. His name is Copper, by the way. All right, let's get back to this. This is the most painful thing to watch.
So, Flo, you were going down the route of free will. At least that's what I came across.
Jay's body language screams he doesn't want to talk about where I was going with it anymore. So I'll wait for the next one.
Because you were making bad arguments.
Just because you don't like them doesn't mean they're bad.
No, they're logically bad arguments. They're not valid arguments.
Awkward.
Like I said, chat, this was so effing painful.
So how about them aliens?
Painful to watch. Like the lack of argument, moral relativism, circular reasoning, nothing, not even an argument from his side. Jay's literally bored out of his mind right now. He's literally asking for the next caller. I think the third time. This is just painful to watch. It's crazy.
Aliens.
Well, what do you think about the aliens, Flo? The alien agenda, like, is it propaganda or is it legit?
I think it's smoke. I think it's I think that there's a reason why it's coming out now. And I think it's being used for a distraction to keep people's attention. Move it over here, move it over there. Oh no, there's drones in the skies, all that shit.
So you guys agree there? That's good.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that as far as the secret society, psyops, government, I think Jay and I agree on most things, probably, but except for ethics. But yeah, I think that it's just.
And they agree on everything except for ethics. Even Flo says this. So you have to, let's just take a guess who has good ethics and then who has the bad ethics. I'll just leave it at that.
Distraction. And I think it has been for some time. Well, forever. I think that we've been playing around with our own vehicles for a long time and then blaming it on UFOs, but
You guys, you did this. You did this, Flo.
Yeah, Flo led to one of the most boring conversations ever. That's what, not my words. Sarah Potato said this. She said, you did this. This is really boring right now.
I didn't do this. Maybe I did this.
And that's moral relativism. I didn't do this. Yeah, maybe I did do this. You see how in a nutshell moral relativism works? He basically made a concise point right there. That in a nutshell is what moral relativism is. Yeah, I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, I did. It's all it is. They have no epistemic justification, no grounding, no place to ground their morals in, to where they can derive oughts from any of this stuff.
This is all your fault.
I'm sorry, Jay, for doing this.
I mean, I just treat it, I go straight up with the argument. So if there's a good argument, I'll agree with you. I agree with you about the psyops. What you're talking about with ethics is complete just nonsense. It was just a bunch of gibberish and made no sense.
I know you guys want to see other comments, but this comment is staying up for the rest of the evening. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Long live Copper. Copper's my boy. So his name's going to be on the stream the rest of the evening anyways. So, because that's my boy, and Copper's a better man than most of you men out there in society. Actually, I would say than 98% of the men out there in society, Copper's a better man than. You don't have to take my word for it. Copper has a lived experience of one of the toughest boys that I've ever heard of. So I'll just leave it at that and do with that what you will. So back to the podcast.
So it's not personal. It's just straight up nonsense.
Do you want to re-engage it or not? Now we can talk about aliens.
This, Sarah, this your show. What do you want to do?
You guys, it's open panel. You guys do whatever you want.
Is this your show? I'm confused.
Well, open panel. Open panel does allow. I open discussions in all different directions. I'm very much into that. I never hold anybody to like, no, we're staying on this topic. So if it floats all around and does whatever, and you guys either yell at each other or have a beer, I mean, care.
Again, like I've had this debate probably 5,000 times. I'm happy to engage any libertarian. We can talk about the NAP. We can talk about is-ought problem. The problem is that I'm not trying to be rude. I don't think you know what the is-ought problem is. So I'm not even going to be able to have a fruitful conversation on that.
Yeah, Mo, I see what you're saying. He's basically calling him stupid without calling him stupid. Yeah, crazy. This is just insane. I'm going to recognize the other comments, but I'm not going to post them. Not my circus says, who the hell is Copper? I'll tell you who Copper is. Copper is one of the baddest men on the planet. Just going to tell you right now. You can literally put this guy in the wilderness and he'll come back well fed, as if nothing ever happened. This guy will protect your family. He'll protect your loved ones. Also, probably one of the most loyal people on the planet. That's who Copper is. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to dox him, but literally one of the baddest men, probably badder than me, actually. I'm a bad mofo, but I would probably go so far as to say he's badder than me. Crazy, man. Yeah, Copper is a real boy, man. This bad boy, man. One of the baddest men on the planet. Anyways, back to this.
If you're not even aware of that stuff. So I have to restrain myself because people are just,
because I'm too. What is the is-ought problem? You apparently want to have this conversation because you're sitting there talking shit about what I do or don't know. What is the is-ought problem, big brains?
Well, I mean, you're the one
He's literally begging the question right now.
that said there's no odds. So that tells me that you don't.
I
know
don't
that.
understand what the is-ought problem is, obviously. Why don't you explain it to me?
You can't get a moral normative claim and ought, what you ought to believe, if everything just is. And so this is a problem in philosophy because people have tried to give claims that are moral and binding when they have a metaphysic or a worldview, say materialism. I don't know if that's your view. You may not be a materialist, but if you're a materialist, for example, like say Sam Harris is, right? When he argues with Jordan Peterson, this comes up because Peterson says, well, you can't get an ought from an is, which is true. You can't get an ought from an is. So if everything just is, there's not a justification for saying that there ought to be an NAP or we ought not murder people or whatever. It's just an assertion with no justification.
Couldn't the justification be that we are subjective beings speaking from our own perspective?
Okay, I noticed in the chat there's a speculation. Copper is real. Copper as real as you and me. He's a real boy. And I don't mean to sound like Pinocchio when I say that. I'm a real boy. Yeah, Copper's real, man. He'll mess you up, man, if you try to threaten his family or anybody else, man. Copper is, like I said, you can put any man in the wilderness. Copper will come back well-fed somehow. I don't know how. And like he never missed a meal in his life. Tough ass boy right there. Damn, Copper's tough. Anyways, once again, shouts out to Copper out there. Copper's insanely courageous and has balls of steel. Crazy guy.
Again, that's just a metaphysical assertion. That's not, so justification means to give a good reason for, a coherent reason for why that is the case or ought to be the case. So it's an epistemic claim.
So would an ought because of God be a default to authority in a way? Or a default?
Well, if God exists, then he would be the
God
ultimate authority, but it wouldn't necessarily be a fallacy, no.
So you're saying we should have oughts and that people are not
Obviously do have oughts, because even if you engage in an argument like right now, and you're arguing that somebody ought to believe a position, if it's true, then if something's true, there's this logical force that comes along with it that we ought to believe it.
But what is with the is? Are you saying, well, I ought to do this, but this is what's actually going on, and you're like,
No. I'm saying that if you take an example of a materialist worldview, that everything that exists is just matter, as an example, then there's no way to get from that kind of a world to it ought to be this way. You ought not kill people. If everything is just molecules bouncing around, then there's nothing that says that the molecules ought to be some other way. They just are.
right.
And so it's a logical non sequitur. It does not follow that you can say that it ought to be this way if everything is matter. It's fallacious. It doesn't follow.
Don't you think that the ought is embedded in the cooperative nature of a conversation, right?
The fact that we do that doesn't tell us that it ought to be done this way or that way.
Not in a cosmic God commanded it sort of way, but in a prescriptive how to move forward sort of way. I think it does.
But it's just begging the question, because how do we know that we're moving forward? That requires some kind of benchmark or standard for that value judgment. So it's missing the point.
Okay, so you're saying that the ought.
I think
It's a well-known problem.
So Dusty has been thoroughly destroyed into dust. I know it sounds like I'm making a double entendre. I'm not at all. But 10th Man just shows up, who is a gay man, outspokenly gay. Mind you, he's one of Flow State's cronies, but he calls me gay, but 10th Man is his boy who is actually gay and hangs around this guy on streams and welcomes him. Now take that in. No homo.
In philosophy, it's called the is-ought problem. It goes back to David Hume. So it's a problem that any type of metaphysic that does not allow for the transcendent typically falls into.
But you're saying having an ought is a good thing. We ought not kill. We ought not.
Everybody does, and they do it intuitively and naturally.
Like Mo, I hear you. Mo says it's kind of shocking. Hold on real quick. What the hell did I do? I goofed. Hold on. I gotta correct this. All right, there I go. I said I would leave it on the screen. I'm keeping my promise. Mo says it's kind of shocking to me that these two are looking at him as if he's speaking some odd, unknown language. No, I would say 3 of them, not 2. She's asking questions, but still trying to get a grasp on what Jay's saying right now. So I'd probably say 3.
Because there are odds.
Right.
But
so
how you give an account for that is a different issue.
Which is like where that ought comes from.
Like what I mean by
what I was
too?
asking to him was, you can say these things like we should have negative rights in AP, whatever, but you got to give an account for that. So that's what philosophy argues, is that it argues how we give an account for those things, for those moral claims, and whether those are good arguments for those things.
I see.
I guess I still don't get why we need a bigger ought than our own position, because we are arguing as individuals who have an interest in the outcome of things.
To universality or objectivity, it's still subjective, so it can't get you to an ought. You can't get an ought from an is. So just saying that you have the position is another form of is.
Oh, light bulb. So if we already have
It's another form of subjectivism and relativism.
Right. Like if it already is, then there is no ought, right? Like there, right. Oh, no. Yes. No. Am I lost?
You see what I mean, Mo? It's not 2 of them looking as if he's speaking a foreign language. It's 3. It's 3. Oh, crazy. This is just insane.
Lost. You're really.
So it's 3. She's lost. She said she was lost.
And look up when you get a chance. There's like a 20-minute argument that Sam Harris has with Jordan Peterson on this question, is-ought question, and you'll see what I'm getting at from there. But it's just, the point is that everybody has a moral sense of right and wrong, but not everybody can give an account for why that is true, or why we should believe that, or why the right and wrongs are objective. So I'm raising the question that if right and wrong and these things are objective, I think they are, we have to give some account for them. And we can't give an account that is just subjective or restricted to individual accounts. So that doesn't work.
Yeah, because then it's moral relativism, or just in layman's terms, like it's conditional. And it can move from goalpost to goalpost depending on which individual this is stemming from.
Kind of like you have to be able to back it up with something. Is that what you're saying?
Beyond just a subjective relativist account.
Yeah, what he's saying is, though, you need an objective standard that doesn't move from person to person, that's not conditional. It's always constant, no matter what, even if you challenge it. This is what we ought do, because at least that's consistent, whereas Dusty's worldview is more relativism and conditional. And it moves from goalposts, like Dusty could probably say on Monday, this is my worldview, and then Wednesday, this is my worldview. So that's why he doesn't have any grounding or epistemic foundation or standard, because this can change from day to day. Otherwise, and which means it's not objective at all.
But isn't a religious belief to an
well, so this is where morality comes in, and you add the religious belief onto it, because like I believe we ought not kill people because my religion tells me so, and that's like I'm backing it up.
Worldview, there's a reason why you can't kill people, and you should not kill people. It's a consistent philosophical system to say that God has given us law. I'm made in God's image, and it's morally wrong in that system objectively for me or you or anyone to murder.
Right.
But in a system that's subjective, it's not wrong. It's just a preference. It's taste. It's like I like strawberry ice cream versus pickle ice cream.
I see.
But the religious belief is not objective.
No, I'm arguing that it is. I mean, you're saying it's not, but I'm saying it is.
It is, because it has it's scripture. It's backed up. It's like there's a man.
No, not even with scripture. Outside of scripture,
manual that tells you
argumentation to back it up. Not just the fact that the Bible.
When we debate moral claims, we're already assuming a meta-ethical position on pursuing truth and being
Yes.
consistent.
There, he said it.
I don't know that I agree that it has to be. I think we can talk about.
This is funny. Chatter says, flow state engaged in an ought claim while saying that universally there is no ought. It's like he destroyed himself. So crazy. Jay didn't even have to destroy him because he imploded. I don't understand this. I don't understand a flow state. Well, I mean, I could understand why Dusty couldn't get this and this could go over his head because he doesn't. Yeah, I don't want to get into that diatribe. Let's the rest of this crazy
about truth and ethics and all this stuff, and we can root it in just self-interested survival, and it will make a case for those values.
John Kell coming in with a Big 10. Flow state engaged in an ought claim while saying that universally there is no ought. Babble.
Yeah, I'm
That
not speaking for
actually-
the universe. I only speak for myself.
He's not talking about. Oh my God, this is so stupid. When he says universally, he's not talking about the universe. He's saying something that's like an absolute. That's what he means by the word universally. Like absolutely, there is no ought, not as in like planetary space and bandwidth of the universe. This is, oh my God. There's so much I want to say right now, but I don't want to attack him. It's taking a lot of restraint right now. I don't understand why he read it this way. I know nobody's this dumb, but Dusty perceived it. Let's just continue.
Yeah, but he's saying that's the point of inconsistency. You can't make that kind of a claim and attach universality to it at the same time. That's the contradiction.
I wasn't attaching universality to it.
But the claim is a universal claim.
Yeah, it's a universal claim. That's what I was saying. Like, he's making an absolute claim. I mean, if you think about this, this is the axiom that's built. It's so crazy.
Ought? I can say ought in a non-universal way.
Say there are no oughts. That is a universal claim. There are no is a quantifier that means universal.
Okay, I don't recall saying that, but anyways, go ahead.
Wrongful Rage coming in with the Big 10. Hello, panel. Hopefully it's a good night. Lots of fun down in the wormhole and into the questions therein. So
I feel like the person below Jay is like 60 IQ right now versus like somebody normal IQ. The distinction is polarizing right now.
right. So you're
But I mean, even if that was the case, it's like Jay's operating at 1,000 IQ and Dusty 60. That's how polarizing this is. That's what I mean to say.
now I'm losing my brain again. I didn't have one to begin with.
And then she says she's losing this, and then she has nothing to begin with. I didn't say it. She did.
But the ought concept, I think I'm getting it right. Where you're basically saying it's got to have something that it stands with. But then when you're in a debate, how are you putting it's like is and ought into debates? Like with what Jim Bob was saying, we're already assuming a meta-ethical position.
Mo, as much as I want to put the comment up because it's very interesting, Copper's name is more optimal than anything anybody could ever discuss tonight. So his name stays up on the screen, just letting you know.
What is meta-ethical?
That's the question of what ethics themselves are. What's their status? What's the meaning behind something being evil or whatever?
Okay.
Are you referring to like a meta study, like with science, where you take all the different scientific experiments and put them all together and take the metadata, and that's where you get your analytical results from?
It's similar to that because you're kind of taking a bird's eye, bigger picture. So anytime in philosophy you're doing something like metaphysics, that's above physics, or what's the nature of those things? How do they exist? Do they exist? What are they? How are they? Those are the kinds of questions that metaphysics does. So metaethics is similar in that it's asking for what type of things are claims like this is evil or this is good, right? A good example would be the good, because the good is something that's both epistemic, it's a knowledge claim, but it's also something that relates to ethics as well, because we think of the good versus the bad, and we ought to follow the good versus the bad, etc. So, yeah, metaphysics or meta ethics would be something like the good and what is the good.
Yeah, I look forward to what you were saying. I didn't see past this point. I didn't watch the whole Jim Bob exchange between him and Tepen, but I bet you didn't know I was this massive of a dog person. I am, man. I put dogs before a lot of people, believe it or not. I know it's not really the proper thing to do because there's like a hierarchy, but I don't know why, man. I'm a huge dog person, man. So when I get to know somebody's dog's name, I'm gonna ask about the dog. And then literally I've had friends that have asked about their dogs and they're like, bro, what about me? I'm chopped liver. And I'm like, oh, by the way, hey, Bob, how are you doing? By the way, I forgot to ask you. Like, I do this all the time. So if you have a dog, don't ever tell me your dog's name or show me pictures or anything like that. Cause your dog is going to be a priority. And then maybe I'll think about you later. I'm being extremely transparent. I mean, no disrespect, but you know, back to this.
And then how do you break that? Like, how do you break down good from bad then? I mean, outside religion, even at that, or can you?
I think that if you don't go with the route of theological argumentation, you end up with subjectivism. And that's kind of the point I was trying to make earlier, is this: if everything is just purely subjective, then we're in a contradictory position where nobody can say anything actually is good or bad.
Right. Because then it's just like, well, how I feel about it. And then you end up, would you say that that's kind of where a lot of our newer laws and things going on in place, especially in the United States, all of these kind of, because we took religion out of the concept of deciding what was good for society. So like, what is good for society would, you know, essentially you'd attach a morality onto that. But if everybody's morality is subjective to how they feel and not based in something like, for instance, their religion, then where are you going with that? Oh, Jim Bob. Hi, Jim Bob.
Hello, everyone. What's going on?
What up?
Hey, Jay. I want to just give Jay a break here. He's, oof.
Tag in.
Oh, is there more of this video?
Between abortion, TRANS,
right.
all of these different
Please
things.
tell me
And
there
I
was
feel like
the
that's
exchange between
Or
Jim
a
Bob.
default.
Well, if God exists, then
We
the
ought.
fact that question, because how do we know that we're moving forward? That requires some kind of benchmark.
What the
or
hell?
standard for
This
that.
is crazy. I know that. All right, man. Damn, man. We're okay. Let me go ahead and look. Maybe it's in here somewhere. Let me take this off. Let me go look this up because I know it's on here somewhere. There's more Jim Bob J. Let me see. Atheist Jim Bob. I'm looking it up on YouTube right now actively because I know that there's a longer version of this. Okay, this is like an hour and something minutes. Here we go. Oh, that's on Jim Bob's channel. That's Alex O'Connor. Let's go over here. Sarah. Hold on. Let me type her name in. Sarah, the Raging Potato. Jim Bob, let me check. I know I have it here somewhere. There's a lot of conversations between Jay and Jim Bob. I don't, Mo, if you could send it to me on Discord, maybe I can check it out because I don't see the full back and forth. Don't see it. I know it's gonna be good. 10th man. Let me at least put this in here. I don't know. All right, I don't see it, man. Yeah, link sent in Discord. Okay, let me go look this up real quick. Thanks, I appreciate the link. Ah, my man. Got the link and everything. All right. Let's share this screen real quick so I can show everybody this. 2 aliens walk in a bar or something like that. Here we go. Thanks for the link, man. Now I can do this. Check this out. Let's
How did you consummate your marriage?
It wasn't too annoying of a conversation, and Jim
You said they believe in.
had an ethics is similar.
here we go.
Then we're
Oh, this is gonna be good. I've never seen this.
Subjective to how they
History. He said he's history.
Turi. All right, let's get back into this.
Hi, Jim Bob.
Hello, everyone. What's going on?
What up?
Hey, Jay. I just wanted to just give Jay a break here. He's, oof.
Tag in.
What about that other guy? He was telling quite a story there. I wanted to hear more of that. The guy with the husband.
10th man.
He's going to tell us about. Is that him? He's still on?
Yeah, he's still.
Yeah, I wanted to hear more of what he was saying. He was judging the history. He said he's going to be on trial soon.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh my god. Oh, this is gonna be fucking hilarious. So Dusty gets destroyed. Now 10th man is probably gonna be destroyed too. Oh, this is so good. Oh, this is good, man. Bro, I had such a long week. This is a good entertainment. Good recommendation, Mo. I appreciate it, man. Tell Copper I said hi again. I know I told him hi probably 5 times already, but yeah. Tell my boy I said what's up.
And all this, I was waiting for him to get to an argument. I was chomping at the bit. Is he making an argument against religion in general, a particular religion? What's the deal?
I'm saying that it's sad that human beings have the capacity for self-reflection. Well, supposedly, I don't know. There's those studies that say 50 to 80% of people are NPCs, but that people have to grasp onto believing in something that's magic.
How do you determine magic?
Murder their neighbor.
What do you determine as magic?
You didn't actually want to hear what I had to say because.
Well, you said magic. No.
Ask questions and then tell me how long I got.
No, you don't want to tell the whole story. You said you're reflecting and you find it sad that people essentially have a view. And you said they believe in magic. So I'm a Christian. I wanted to know, how do you determine what magic is?
Metaphysical things.
Like truth?
Pretty much, yeah. Nothing.
Truth is magic?
I go by the Assassin's Creed. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
So you just permitted all of the atrocities that you're accusing Christians and other religions doing.
I didn't accuse you. You're projecting. People see.
What? Why did he just say that? Oh my god, this is gold. This is a gold mine. This is crazy. Jim Bob's expression is insane. This is so comical. This is so fucking hilarious. The way Jim Bob was looking when he said this. Oh my! 10th man is probably going to get destroyed pretty bad, but I'm here for it.
It's based on time versus how it affects them. You know, too many different factors. People don't normally nowadays talk about Genghis Khan as if he was evil. They
Did you
talk
say
about him as a brilliant military strategist?
Did he do anything wrong, or
That's subjective, isn't it?
okay? So nothing.
Real quick, I'm up to head out. We got
Okay.
stuff we got to do tomorrow. So thank
Sure.
you for having me, Sarah.
Mhm.
Thank you to Flow State. Hopefully, it wasn't too annoying of a conversation. And
Yeah, he got destroyed. Flow State got obliterated. That was insane.
Jim Bob and everybody. Thank you guys.
Good talking to you.
Thanks,
Have a good night.
Jay.
Yeah, because it sounded like you were making a statement about religion and its detriment and things like this. And so I was wondering.
It's the only thing that apparently can stop humans from killing their brothers and neighbors. So that's why I've stopped speaking out against religion, because I guess that's what people need.
To not kill each other?
No, they need to believe in a magic man to not kill each other.
A magic man. Again, how do you determine magic? You said metaphysical, right? And then I said, is truth metaphysical? You said yes. So you're making truth claims while arguing that making truth claims is magical.
What exactly do you mean?
You just said you believe in magic. I said, what's magical? You said metaphysical. I said, is truth metaphysical? You said yes. So now you're making truth claims about things. So by your own standard, you're participating in magic, right?
Nope.
Oh my God, this is so crazy. You see how circular this is? This is good stuff, good content.
It doesn't follow.
No, because I'm observing the things that I'm seeing.
Are you saying
And I'm
true
talking
things?
What?
Are you participating in truth claims? Are you stating truth claims?
Nope. Observations.
Are observations propositional?
No.
Observations, when you state an observation, it's not a proposition.
Nope.
Okay, what is it then?
It's a fact.
Are
The
facts
sun
proposition?
rises,
Dude,
The sun
Dude.
goes down.
dude,
It produces energy.
how do you get facts without making propositions?
You see them.
Yeah. How do you state
And
a
then
fact?
It's repeatable. And then it's repeatable.
What's
and then
repeatable?
it is.
Oh,
The
I
thing,
gotcha.
that's what science is.
Science is what?
Something that you can reproduce.
Okay. Can you tell me the steps of the scientific method?
Do I have to look them up?
You just told me what science is. I want to make
Yep.
sure you know what you're talking about. Do you know what the scientific method is?
If I don't, why don't you tell me how it is?
The scientific method is starts with an
No,
observation.
no, not the scientific method. Just
Doing science without the scientific method. What's that
No, I'm
look
saying.
like?
if you know the answer,
Uh-huh.
So Flow State got destroyed. Nick says Flow simply saying there shouldn't be an ought. He's by proxy imposing to a self-preferential universal ought, which is contradictory. Like I said, Dusty got destroyed, but he imploded and destroyed his own argument, which actually he didn't have an argument. He literally destroyed any grounding foundation that he could have even attempted to have, never presented an argument, only circular reasoning. And all this was just more relativism, and Dusty was just 60 IQ versus Jay Dyer, 1,000 IQ. And that, my dear, is just instant boredom. That's why that happened.
why would you ask me for it?
Because you're making the claim that science gets you to truth, and you're also holding the view that truth is metaphysical, and by definition, metaphysical things are magic.
Yep.
Yeah. So So science is magic from your own view.
No, because magic isn't real.
Okay. So truth isn't real.
Correct.
What? He said truth isn't real. And he said, so truth isn't real. And Hitman said correct. Oh my goodness. Where was this content at when I needed to see this to laugh?
The truth isn't real. Okay. I guess my work is done here. Truth isn't real. Great argument. Great job, buddy.
Because your truth is different than my truth.
That's a
it's not
truth
real.
claim. That's a truth claim.
Then it's not real.
Then your truth
I
claim's not
hate
real.
all of you.
Your truth claim's not real. Congratulations. Why are you even on a panel, dude? Get out of here.
If my truth claim's not real, then your
Just
Get out of
me
here. You're
some
making
context.
truth. Dude, you're making truth claims while saying truth claims aren't real. Get out of here. You're a mess. No wonder you think a dude's butthole is a vagina.
Oh my God. What? No wonder you think a dude's butthole's a vagina. It's so true. Oh God. The wrecking that's happening right now must be done. Yes. Wreck him, Jim Bob. No homo, by the way, but wreck his argument.
That's what I'm talking. See, it all fits perfectly.
How did it does fit perfectly? I don't think
Yep.
so. It's not supposed to.
No, you fit perfectly.
How did you consummate your marriage, by the way?
Few different ways.
Yeah, is it sacramental? I mean, are you participating in a sacrament, or are you just borrowing from
You
the
mean, does
Christian
it by-
tradition?
Does it go by your Hogwarts?
How did you
School of
consummate?
Magic
How did you
rules?
consummate your
Don't
marriage?
ask questions unless you're gonna let the person answer.
How did you?
Otherwise, you're just a troll.
How did you?
Otherwise, you look a little trollish, and I
How
knew,
did you
I knew by your tone as soon as you came up. I said, I was like, this is gonna be fun.
How do you
So you
consummate
don't
your
know
marriage?
who I am. You
How
might
did you-
think you're smart, but you're playing with an old G boy.
How did you consummate your marriage?
What do you want to hear
That's
about
a
it so
really
bad?
weird thing to ask another man.
Well, no, you're using the word marriage. That means something, and I want to know what it means to you.
To ask another man.
I'm just wondering, did you consummate your marriage?
Why are you so interested in gay stuff?
I'm not. I'm interested in
But
marriage.
you're asking a lot of questions about it, brah.
No, I'm asking about marriage.
You're asking about stuff that's none of your business.
You brought it up. You said you had a marriage, right? So you made it everyone's business
Man, I
by
think
getting
you
on a
should give him
panel.
the nasty details. Give him the details.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you consummate that marriage?
I don't know if I want to hear this because I just ate, but this is insane. This is crazy. Are we really going to go down this road right now?
See,
I think Jim Bob is going to wreck both of them. That's just my prediction. I haven't seen this, but I think both of them are going to get wrecked pretty bad.
I just got out of bed with my husband because he was snoring and I couldn't hear the bodyguard with Whitney Houston. So then I said, I wonder who's live. And I said, they're Tomato. I'll go up there and talk to them guys. And then you came up and I'm like, this guy got some tone on him. This is going to be adorable. And then now you're rattling on like a lunatic imbecile and proving my point that
What's your point?
lunatic imbeciles like you
Is that a truth claim?
will go out there and get a bunch of weak-minded idiots to go out there and load people like me onto trains and toss us into fire pits because you're a lunatic. I can see it in your eyes.
I don't prefer
see
trains.
I can see the lunatic Christian madness in your eyes, and you're on a little tiny half-an-inch screen on my phone. You're a lunatic.
We don't need trains because you guys are reproductive dead ends.
Oh, damn. This is crazy. Yeah, he's right. It's true. They're reproductive dead ends.
Dude, you're a lunatic.
You can't reproduce.
I knew it from the first two words, the tone, and you're like an old lady that's talking to her husband at 60 years. That's how you talk to me, like you know me. It's adorable.
You have to borrow heterosexuality to have kids.
None of your
Damn. Whoa, Jim Bob. Oh, this is crazy. Hold on. I don't even know how to process this, but this is crazy. Hold on. All right, I'm going to play the rest of this. This is just crazy. I got to do something real quick. I just have to do this 1 second. I know you guys are holding on for 1 second, but this is just this is so crazy. I have to do this. Sorry. I know I'm having you guys wait for just a second. Must be done. I have to do this. And if you guys are wondering what I'm about to do, it's important. Very important. Also, long live copper, by the way. I don't know if you guys read that. That was on my screen. That's my boy. Copper is my boy. All right, let me go ahead and put this on my screen real quick. Okay, all right, here we go. Back to this. This is just insane.
business, what I do in my life. This is why the world
You're making it your
falling apart,
business.
because you spend more time worrying about what other people are doing than trying
You're-
to keep
you're on a
own
panel.
life in line.
You're on a panel
Yes.
talking about what you're
Yes.
doing. What are you talking about?
Yes.
By the way, you just made a bunch of truth claims. By your own admission, what you
And as
just
soon
did
as I say my
was false.
husband, you can say, "Oh, how long you and your husband been married?"
married? No,
years.
you guys aren't
And then
married.
as soon as you go, "How did you consummate your marriage?" I go,
Uh-huh.
"Bro, I'm married. I'm not going to have that talk with you. It's kind of creepy that you asked."
it's creepy that I ask what constitutes a marriage for someone who
Jim
claims
Bob,
to
maybe
marry.
if you tell him how
Consummated
you
my
consummated
marriage.
yours, he'd see your leadership and then explain the details of how he consummated his.
Well, if I'm talking to
That's a
someone,
weird question, bro. If I was in a
It's
bar
weird.
with you and you came at me the way you're coming at me right now,
you'd
one or
you'd give
both
me
of us is going
You'd
to jail
fuck
or
him?
the hospital.
you'd give me what would you give me? What would you do?
No, just the way you came at me on this panel. If you and I were sitting in a bar, right?
Bar?
You were sitting at the table next to me, and you came at me the way
He's
you're coming
Canadian.
at me up on here. One or both of us are probably going to jail, or one of us is going to the hospital. One's going
You'd-
like.
You'd probably like
the,
jail.
No, because of
Oh my god! I said you're probably like, hold on, I gotta play this. All right, Mo, take care, man. Long Live Copper is gonna be on the screen for the rest of the night. Yeah, Christ is God. I gotta play this real quick because it's extremely relevant to this conversation. Throw in the towel! Throw in the towel, Jim Bob! Don't do it to him like this, Jim Bob! That's what I feel like telling everybody else. Like, throw in the towel! Throw in the towel, Jim Bob! Ease up, man. You're killing him, Jim Bob! That's what was happening right there. Throw in the towel. Please throw in the towel. This is insane. This is crazy. I can't believe that this is happening.
the way you're speaking, I could say I felt threatened. He seemed like he was really crazy. He started saying, "How'd you consummate your marriage?" And he's yelling at me, and then I could put the beat down on you by law, and I wouldn't get in trouble. It'd be fine.
Oh, you were scared? You're scared?
No, that doesn't matter if I'm scared. I can say I was.
Oh, you could just say you were scared?
That's
I
right.
saw
By the
that.
way
Jim
you're
Bob was like
speaking, by
rushing
the
at you
way
while taking off his pants and saying, "Show me how, show me how, show me how."
By the way you speak and acting like that in public, I would be able to put you in the hospital
Legally?
legally.
Really? So if you're
Yes.
scared, if you're just scared of words, you can put people in the
Just had to say
hospital?
I was.
And aren't you the guy who just said you're afraid that Christians are gonna like put you on trains? And you just said
Yeah,
based
look
on
at the way you're talking,
Dude.
You're acting.
Yeah, this is crazy. 10th Man just contradicted himself. He said they're afraid that some Gestapo Christianity is going to show up, put them on trains. Meanwhile, words are so bad to 10th Man that 10th Man would put people in the hospital for words. This is insane.
Crazy.
dude. The crazy person is someone speaks words and you justify violence. You're the one who's crazy.
Let's be
No,
clear. You're
no,
both
no, no.
insane.
You're the one who's
Yes.
crazy.
Yes, but I'm not going to come up to you in a bar when I hear you talk about your wife and ask you how you consummated your marriage.
You're on a panel. What's the
That's
difference?
not the discussion, bro.
You brought up your marriage, dude. Clearly,
Sir, why would
Do
you
you guys
act
want to
different
hear
on
how I
this panel
consummated
than-
mine?
Clearly,
Yeah.
you're interested in telling the audience that you have a husband, right? So I wanted to ask.
Why would you act any differently on this panel than you would in a bar of a bunch of people
In a burr. What's a burr?
at a party having
because a bar.
Oh, and then he said a purdy. A burr and a purdy. Man, it's like he speaks in a... 10th Man must be from Canada or something. This is crazy.
Bar is not a panel, you dipshit.
You mean because you have the protections of anonymity?
No, I'm not.
You
What
think
are you
can
talking
speak
about?
to people however you
Anonymity.
want?
It's not anonymous, but he
This isn't anonymous. You retard.
No, I'm saying you think you can speak to people however you want.
You can.
Yeah, you
Not in
can.
real life, you can't.
Yeah, you
This
can.
is- This
No, you
isn't real
can't.
life either. I mean, like it is, but it's
Of course, you could speak to people how you
No,
want.
You see what Dusty said? It is... It isn't, but it is. Moral relativism still functioning on his end, by the way.
Real
you
life.
can't.
Oh, well,
don't
yeah,
be
you
an
can.
e-thug.
Of
course you can.
approach me in a bar
In a bar.
with the
In
way
a gay
you
bar?
word,
Are we at a gay bar or a regular bar?
a restaurant,
A gay restaurant?
just anywhere, not Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
right?
Chick-fil-A
Any
is rolling
restaurant
over
out there.
right
We're at-
now.
We're at
How
Burger
dare you?
King.
You
then
got
you
three.
go,
You got three
"How'd you
faces, and you're calling me
consummate your
anonymous.
marriage?"
Why don't you turn your camera on? You're calling me anonymous,
No, I'm
right?
not camera.
Yeah. That's what I
My
thought.
face is very well known.
Well known.
Yes,
What is it? Well known to who?
many people.
So then, why would you hide your face if everyone knows it anyway?
Because I'm ugly.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, I just thought it was interesting that the guy was claiming truth claims and crying about Christianity, going after and putting him on trains, and then he says truth is completely fictional. At this, in the same.
Jay
breath.
was like, Jim Bob, come provide the smoke screen for my retreat.
No, he was bored.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, Jay Dyer was so bored. Dusty got destroyed so bad on this panel that this is the only conversation that Dusty can have is about other people. And that's the problem here. And I'm going to go back to what Dusty does. To be honest, there's a massive distinction between what I do and what Dusty does. I talk about beliefs and I talk about ideas. Dusty talks about people. That's it. Purely, that's all he talks about. Maybe 2% is about ideas and stuff. Mainly people, gossip. He did this, she did that. On my end, this is the idea of this. This is the notion of black culture. This is what these people believe in, this and that. I talk about ideology and systems, the way that society functions, social shifts, things like this. They're in the panelverse and people on Dusty, they talk about people. There's a massive difference between me and him. Just like 10th Man, all these other people, all they have is moral relativism, nothing in which to ground oughts in or to derive oughts from, no epistemic justification at all, circular reasoning, moral relativism. That's all the same deal that they have. That's it.
I actually expected more people to have more questions. I had a lot, like, I was curious on the matter, and I just felt like a lot more people would have, maybe they were too afraid of him. I don't know.
I was terrified.
You obviously were not. Let's read these real quick. Dylan Hicks coming in with a big 5 says, why do humans need to survive absent God?
What the fuck kind of question is that? Like,
Well, because Flo say, I think they're responding. You said a statement maybe 10 minutes ago. You said, well, why can't we just base what we do based on what works for survival, right? And so they're asking, why is it an imperative to survive? And you'd have to just say you just want to, but then
well,
again,
all we're talking about is the reasons why something matters to us, the individual actors.
yeah,
right?
he's asking
And
you why survive. He's asking you
Yeah.
why survive.
you don't need to. If survival doesn't matter to you, then do you, boo-boo. But that's basically all living things do care about survival. So it doesn't need an ought.
So it doesn't need an ought, and he can't derive oughts from anything. So that's what his default is. Very big brain stuff coming from this guy, which is the opposite. Heavy sarcasm here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're just saying you're not posing an ought claim. You're just saying I want to survive, but
Sure.
we ought not survive, but you're just like, I prefer to survive.
Yeah, I don't think you need an ought claim because everything, for whatever reason, does tend to want to survive. If it doesn't tend to stick around long.
Right.
And if I encounter somebody that doesn't care about its own survival, probably having a conversation with the wrong person.
All they have is conditional preferences. That's it. There's nothing objective as far as truth on their end. That's all we have from man. I don't think Dusty's ready for any of these conversations at all. All of this is going above his head. Nothing in which to ground it. Like, this is why liberals and libertarians and people who are centrists like him, they'll be on one side of the fence one week and the other side of the fence the next week.
Yeah, but it brings up the question: do you, from that view, do you permit anything just to survive? Is everything morally okay so long as it produces survival? Is the question. Ends up being the question anyway.
Well, I wasn't making universal moral claims. I think that
He was making universal claims. I don't know why he's denying this right now. He's done this 3 times with Jay Dyer already, and then now he's saying he wasn't. It's like he's a contradiction machine in this exchange as well too.
I think that religion is necessary for somebody to make claims that's bigger than they are. That's what
No,
religion and God permits people to do is to take.
You can't make claims at like with your foundation at all. Anyways, you can't do this because you can't ground this in anything.
Take on more
Flo.
authority than they rightfully have.
Flo, I'm not asking about that. I'm just saying, under your view, that you prefer survival, you want to survive. I'm asking you personally, is there any threshold that you bring in your ethics where doing an action is actually not permissible, even if it resulted in survival? Is there any?
I don't think there's any action that you cannot come up with a paradigm in which that act would be appropriate.
Okay, so like for instance, if someone said, I'm going to kill you unless you do XYZ with your family member in front of the other family members, right? Are you triggered then with some ethical position that's not worth following through with that action just to survive?
Yeah, I mean, sure. But I think that the ethical concern, still, whether or not I attribute it to myself, comes from me. Our family matters. Our individual family matters more to us as individuals because they're our family. But presumably to God, each person is the same as each other person.
I know, but
right?
That's the thing is, if the hypothetical says there's people pointing guns at you, and if you say your family members,
how many people?
Hold on. You say your family member they're valuable, right? So
yeah.
They're valuable enough for you to save their lives, but what it requires for you to save their life is doing something against them.
Okay.
So then,
I have to harm them to save them.
Yes.
How many people are there?
I mean, that without knowing the specifics, I would say that you're looking then for an option to minimize damage. So harming your family member, if it ultimately saves them, is better than dooming them by not harming them.
Gotcha. So if it was
survival, right?
Right. So that's what I'm saying is like you would justify any behavior for survival. So that just so you know the entailments of that position, you would then, if you were convinced, you would agree with some sort of Malthusian Depop program, so long as it is the greater good won out in your view, which people take that view. That's what they argue.
Yeah, I mean, you would agree with that's a higher moral threshold than
so you agree with Bill Gates.
God said so.
So you don't really disagree with a Bill Gates kind of view of the world, then? That
you don't need with either. Not if God said so.
This is crazy.
Like,
well, no, don't. Let's say God doesn't exist right now. Just like flat out, there's no God.
Well, you're criticizing my views, but your views don't stand up to the same scrutiny.
Well, no, mine do, because my view wouldn't have me grape my own family just for us to survive. I would die.
Daughters grape
I'm not. We're not talking about Noah, dude. We're talking about whether or not.
This is going over Dusty's head again, as if it wasn't already in the Jay Dyer situation. Still going over his head.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Dude, Flo.
Calm down.
I would not. You're asking me, would I? I would not grape my own family if I knew they were all going to survive. If I just graped them all, you would.
Then you'd kill them.
Yeah, we would all die.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, would you rather live a full life with your whole family knowing you graped all of them just at gunpoint? You abandon your ethics just to survive how many more years of life with the weight that you've done that to your own family just to survive?
Hopefully I never have to cross that bridge.
I'm just saying.
Ultimately, yes. What I'm doing is I'm weighing the options, and I'm looking for the one that causes the least harm. I'm trying to choose that.
This is crazy. No moral or epistemic foundation or justification at all. It's just the good is the good, man. That's it. And I know Andrew said this plenty of times, but it's so true. All of this is just preferences. That's all they have is preferences on their end, no matter what. And you know what his preferences like next week could change because they're conditional. They're not objective standards that which he could uphold to. And matter of fact, his family member could say something different about him. He could say something different about them. It's not uniform. It's nothing objective. All this is just subjective, switching from goalpost to goalpost. That's his belief system.
So you'd bang a baby.
What would you do? What would you not do if God told you to do it? That's what I'm saying.
We're not talking about God telling.
I know you don't want to talk about you. I get it. You never do.
The hypothetical.
If you have
doesn't-
an issue with,
Can I ask? Can I
Hypothetical
ask
isn't-
Jim Bob?
you have to be able to receive questions too, Jim Bob. You can't.
I know,
just
but
passive as
yeah, but Flo, you understand that
Gentlemen,
I'm not a
can I ask-
utilitarian. You're assuming the question to me is posits that I'm a utilitarian. No, you
Go
are.
ahead,
You're. I'm not.
At what point do you draw the line? Right? Like, where does the line get drawn in terms of like what morals are you willing to give into?
By the way, chat, I don't watch the Potato Lady. I don't watch Krusty. I don't watch any 10th Man who's gay as hell. I don't watch any of these people. Mind you, I'm going to say this again. Dusty accuses me of being gay, but he hangs with 10th Man in that Fox lady who's really a gay dude and like all these gay people on his end, but he wants to accuse me of being gay absent any evidence or anything like that. Meanwhile, he's surrounded in the thick of things with gay people on panels, gets along with them, all this. And I'm just like, yeah, man, I looking kind of gay over there, bro. And the reason why I'm watching this, because like I was saying, I don't watch the Potato Lady. I'm watching this because Dusty got destroyed by Jay Dyer, and it was painful to watch. I had secondhand embarrassment because of the low IQ spectrum on his side. I'm just assuming. I don't know, but through the demonstration, not very big, bright people on their side of the aisle. The only reason I'm watching this is because of their destruction at the hands of Jay Dyer and Jim Bob right now. Jim Bob exposing Dusty's moral relativism and Dusty being ground to dust. That's it. That's you'll never see Sarah on Potato on my panel because honestly, before the fallout and everything else, I actually defended her on Twitter when she was being attacked for being a biased ass moderator. They were calling her "See you next Tuesday." They were calling her everything, and I stood up to bat for her. And I said she's not unbiased. And this led to the fallout on X, where me and Andrew Wilson were battling some guy named Myers. Forgot what his loser name is, and we destroyed them on X, all because of the exchange from me defending Sarah. And what does Sarah do? Call me a gay reindeer, attack Cool Vic, attack Speakeasy, and attack everybody else. And Andrew, all of us who've defended the Raging Potato, and she turns around and does that. No more crazy. So the only reason I'm watching this is because I love to see these guys get logically destroyed by their own inactive arguments that they can't even bring to the table. All right. I don't know why I took that out. Here we go.
Or for instance, maybe it wasn't grape. Maybe it was you got to punch your wife. Would you? Right, every guy would be like, yeah, okay. But I mean, what if you have to like punch your kid?
What if you have to paralyze your kid?
Right.
The point is, all
That's
we're
what I'm
doing is
saying
escalating.
Well, I'm asking if that is the piece of it, then where do you draw the line at? Where's
You
the?
had me at punch.
That's my point. There is not really a specific item that's off the table because you can always invent something that's more gruesome, right? And you presumably want to save people from that more gruesome case, right, Jim Bob?
No, I'm not a utilitarian.
So then, what?
I'm not a harm reduction principle person. It's like the thing is,
you're a
ask
God's
a
word
question?
principle, right?
Can I ask a question?
you look, you posit a situation where you're stuck in between a conundrum, right? And you're forced, right, to take an action. The reality is that shut up for a sec. Hey, hold on. I'm talking. I'm mid sentence, dude. You got to listen. You got to finish. You got to let someone finish talking. I don't know what they teach in the gay bars, but that doesn't work here. Okay.
So move on to a completely
shut
different thing.
up.
Hold on,
Or
tenth
what?
man.
Shut
Let
up.
him finish.
So the point is, harm
They're
reduction.
oppressing you.
Yeah, good. Harm reduction isn't something that a Christian might reduce harm, but ultimately the choice that they make morally isn't about harm reduction, because harm also is something that's included in life. So you couldn't just you would have to say that the most Christian taking a utilitarian approach would have to say the most moral outcome for the world is everyone in sort of like these helmet bodysuits where they're sort of floating in a perpetually what would you call it, euphoric state, right? That would be ultimately the goal from that position.
So, okay, so
Why do I feel like Dusty's going to get destroyed again? And he's still not going to have an argument? Call it a premonition. I don't know.
let me get what is the guiding principle for Christians in the same scenarios you gave me?
Like guiding principles is Christ-like theosis. So you're making choices.
The specific paradigm is, how do you make the choice? You got to grape your family or they die.
Well, you let them die. You don't grape your family because someone else is going to kill you. You're not killing your family.
Do you not believe? You believe? So you don't think that inaction is an action?
No, because look, no. The action is. It's not what is an action or not. Like, I would agree with you. An inaction could be a type of action or can produce an outcome. The point is, the only way you're measuring the value of actions is the outcome. I'm saying that, Flo, if someone held a gun to my head and said, denounce Christ as God right now, or your family dies, my family dies.
And that's why you guys are morally insane.
You see, no grounding epistemic, like it's just conditional. So to him, he doesn't have a threshold because the threshold's also conditional. He has no ground to which to stand on. He has no grounds for what's right and wrong. It's a circular reasoning, and it just, I feel, all of this is just a reductio to feelings. That's it for him. That's it. Dusty feels one way one week, then he feels different the next week. That's why he's a fence sitter. And that's why these people are snakes, in my opinion. I mean, I'm just going to call it what it is, because he'll change his stripes for anybody, depending on the conditionals and how he feels. He doesn't have an objective standard of which to hold on to. Meanwhile, Made by Jim Bob has an objective standard of which to hold to. And also he can ground this.
That's not an argument, though.
Right,
But
It's not an argument. You're right. It's not. It's a claim. Go ahead, Tim.
This is adorable. So,
I bet you know about doorbells.
The Made by Jimbo guy.
Yeah.
Do you support Israel's right to exist, no matter what means they use?
Can't denounce God.
No, I think Israel. I'm fine for ethno states existing so long as they defend themselves. I don't think we should support their defense. They should have to do it themselves.
That's not what I asked. I said,
yes, you did.
No. I said, do you support their right to exist, and by any means necessary? Because if you're going to go to graping families, I'm gonna ask. Oh, you don't?
No, I don't. I don't even like Israel. I don't even like.
Well, you seem like you'd be the guy who'd be like, yeah, they can do whatever they need to.
No, I'm not a dispensation.
Yeah, he's not a dispensationalist, and also he's not in a J at all.
No, I'm not a dispensationalist. I don't know. Most gay people don't know this, but they're all people who call themselves Christians don't actually have all of the same theological views.
Nick Whiteman coming with a big 5. Flo's simply saying there shouldn't be an ought. He's by proxy imposing to a self-referential universal ought, which is contradictory. And I think
I'm not. I'm sorry. Finish the thing, and then I'll explain it to these dumb fucks.
So he called them a dumb F, right? Meanwhile, Jay's bored out of his mind on the panel because Flo never brought an argument, circular reasoning, and has no moral justification, just moral relativism. That's it. He couldn't even consent with the argument. And then when Flo and Jim Bob had an exchange, the guy looked like he had 2 brain cells rubbing together, but he's going to call everybody else dumb. Yeah.
John Cal coming with the big 10. Skittles believe in magic. They just don't want to admit that their paradox needs magic.
Yeah, they need the magic of a woman's womb to have kids.
Damn.
Go ahead.
No. I'll wait till they're done.
Okay. Wrongful Rage coming with the big 10. Wes Watson in the flesh and shaved arms. Oh, wait. That's Jim Bob. He doesn't shave his arms. Go to the gym or attack special needs individuals.
No. I haven't earned shaving my arms. I don't have all tattoos like you, Flo State.
I've only got one. Fuck that shit.
Is it a dragon?
It is a dragon.
Henry coming with the big 2. I love it. Wrongful Rage coming in with the Big 10. Never mind. Jim Bob just beat up a special needs individual with his words. Trigger warning needed. John Cal coming with the Big 10. Let's sound like that Skittle that threatens Benny Shapiro. LOL. Sounds like that Skittle. Okay, there we go. Wrongful Rage coming with the Big 10. I can say anything that I want. I'm not responsible for your reaction. However, you're able to test that theory on your own time. That is fair. Trib 1 coming with the Big 2. Flo was the most correct with his premise, in my opinion. And Trib following up again with the Big 5. The answer for a Christian when asked, would you grape a baby if God told you to, is yes. Disobeying God is the ultimate sin. It's why I'm not religious.
No, because that goes against God's nature. God would never do that. His nature doesn't change. It's consistent. That's objective. We can go into the explanation on that, but I don't want to have to do that. I'd rather let Jim Bob answer.
But God wouldn't tell you to do that.
Are you sure? Have you read the Old Testament?
No, it doesn't. We've already went over this. You're just going to do an interpretation and then say,
Abraham and Isaac. It wasn't grape, but it was murder. So,
murder's a legal term, so you'd have to go into separate what justified killing. Because Flow State, you agree that you could kill someone and it's not murder, right?
Correct.
So how is it that you're going to apply a standard to God?
All right,
he can't kill, and you're going to call it murder if it's not.
I'm
right?
going to let me apply my current legal framework. Yes, killing your son. If you found somebody in the woods with a knife over his kid because God told him to, that'd be murder.
Well, murders in the woods. There's no legality in the woods, right?
No, so you can do whatever you want in the woods with that.
No. If
adorable.
No, if you're in the woods and there's no legal law, all you're left to is, guess what? Survival, Flow State, or your ethical system. So in my ethical system, I'd have to ponder this kind of stuff. Even if I didn't know fully the right thing to do, I'm still pondering it from an ethical position. Your position is merely survival. All you need to do is convince yourself, I'm doing X for, X for just pure survival, not for a good reason, just not that survival's good because you admitted, ought we survive? No, I just want to. But that means someone else who doesn't want you to survive gets to say, I don't want you to survive. Would you agree that a I don't want is equal to a want?
Is he trying to kill you?
He's
let him answer.
No, he's trying to control the conversation and so that I can't ask any questions back. What was your question again? And then I've got some for
Remember you.
God, he's not even listening. This is brutal. This is just insane. Really painful to watch. You know what? I'm going to bow out. This is just, I've had enough. I initially just wanted to do a Bodybuilding for Dummies who aren't even trying stream. So I did that. I'm going to clip just this segment. The rest of this, I was just out of morbid curiosity about the whole Dusty getting destroyed by Jay Dyer. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Dusty can't even hold his own against people who are great logical thinkers, such as Jay Dyer, Jim Bob, and he's still failing. But this guy wants to debate me on Modern Day Debate. Oh, yeah, that's right. James did say that his prompt was stupid. Sounds like there's something consistent on Dusty's side. I don't want to say what that is, but at least Dusty's consistent by everybody else's account. The prompt is stupid, or Jay Dyer calls him stupid without calling him stupid, or Jim Bob makes him look. Look, you know what? I'm not saying any of this stuff. Even Sarah said you ruined it. This is just crazy. He does it to himself. I don't have to do anything to Dusty. He does this to himself. It's like he gets on panels, gets wrecked, gets on panels, gets wrecked. Dusty is like the cousin First Amender never had, because it's just the same walking into getting wrecked, not learning, walking into getting wrecked again, not learning. Moral relativism works like that in his end. Dusty walks into debate, gets wrecked, walks into another debate, gets wrecked. I don't know if he's a sadomasochist, but he must like a lot of the pain, because that was very cringeworthy to watch Dusty get wrecked by Jay Dyer. Anyways, that was just insane. We are in the middle of just a quick update, some housekeeping. I look forward to this debate with Manar. That's going to happen I appreciate all 41 people watching. I got 25 on X, 16 on YouTube. Appreciate you guys rating right now. But anyways, yeah, this is going to be difficult. That's a difficult thing to watch that we just watched. But anyways, we're working on a prompt right now. If Dusty doesn't come with a prompt, I messaged him on X, or Dusty, or if any of you guys are just stream sniping, come up with a damn prompt. I messaged you, Dusty, so that way you can get your ass thoroughly kicked in a debate on Modern Day Debate, because James basically said your prompt is effing stupid. Yes. So not only did Jay call you stupid in so many words, mind you, this isn't me saying that. These are people outside like that may not even talk to each other saying the same thing about you. James from Modern Day Debate said your prompt was stupid. Jay Dyer called you stupid in so many words without calling you stupid. Jim Bob made you look. You know what? I'm not going to say anything else. You guys hear what I'm saying. So Beth showed up. I called her a snake, told her why. I have justification and a reason. At least it's consistent as well, too. She said she's not intimidated by me. That's because we're not in person. Women can get folded too. Yeah, I said this, and stuffed in trash cans. Yeah, I mean, go run tell that, as Martin Lawrence said. So anyways, this is so crazy. Can't believe I'm discussing these people on my channel, and I was supposed to originally have a Bodybuilding for Dummies panel. Not panel, but a discussion about all this stuff. If you guys are wondering why Mo Rebuttal's Long Live Copper is on the screen, I'm not going to dive into it, but Copper is the most badass boy on the planet. Just going to tell you guys again right now. So crazy. So we have bisexual hands. Anyone can get them. You know what? As far as these hands, I call them the biscuit cutter and the pork chop. Anybody can get fed. We offer meals on wheels right here. That's it. So the biscuit cutter and the pork chop. That's what I call them. Heavy-handed, serving meals all day, and you can eat these all day. So, boom. And you'll get the itis and go to sleep right after this big-ass meal. So, I'll tell anybody that. If you guys know what the itis is, you'll get sleepy after you take these big plates. So, yeah. We're working on this prompt so that way I can debate the powdered whatever his name is. So weird. A man has a powdered dusty name. That's a grown man's name, by the way. I don't think about powdered and grown-ass man in the same sentence, but if you think about this, it's perfect. It makes perfectly sense why a powdered man would be around somebody like 10th Man and Fox or whatever that thing is named, whatever they identify as. Like, he's in that circle because his name has powdered in it. So yeah, not the most masculine name to have. And especially if you have accusations of past drug use, your name's powdered too. So there's a lot there to unpack. Not going to dive into it. By the way, this isn't a personal attack. I'm just talking about the name and the connotations in relation to like his name and the surrounding people in his vicinity. Notice how I didn't dive into this and have speculation. I'm just saying it's just funny and coincidence that this happens. So on my side, I have base people, Andrew Wilson, Jim, like all these people, Rob Knorr and me talk, like all these other people are based. They all have nuclear families. They're married. They believe in Christ. All this very consistent on his side. 10th Man, Foxy, whatever her name is, and really gay, all very consistent on their end too. Get bodied by Jay Dyer, Jim Bob. Anyways, you guys know the deal. Yeah, I'm going to get some sleep, man. I had a 12-hour work day, went to the gym and came here immediately, jumped on stream. I need to go ahead and grab some more food because I'm starving, but I will talk to you guys later. It's been real. On that note, I'll probably do a stream tomorrow. Who knows? But I'll see you guys tomorrow because that is the pre-game for the Menard debate. That's going to be on Tuesday. That's going to be glorious. Stay tuned. I'll have more content for you guys in the future. Christ is God.